We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna take a little break right now. When we
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How you feel? Feel good? Feel good. Anyways, we're back, we're back, we're back. Remember, we want you to be an activist. So, yeah. Anyways, I've been kind of changing the format of the show. Excuse me. We're just gonna keep on improving. I'm always looking into the analytics. I really didn't intend on starting the show off with the music as much this time, but I didn't have no choice because I wasn't ready. So, but I'm on earlier though, again. So that's another thing that's different. I'm gonna try to come on earlier on Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm also gonna shorten this show. I'm gonna try not to, I don't want the show to be 4 hours. It's draining. It takes a lot of energy from me, and I have a lot of stuff going on. So, plus, I want again, I'm improving the channel. I think, or we're changing. And we're going to make it more concise. I'm going to play less and less videos, and we're going to kind of focus on the dialogue, and each day I'm going to give us like a really good topic, hopefully, to talk about. And, the name of the game is to get people in to talk to me. So that's the name of the game. But I'm early again today, so I'm probably throwing a lot of people off. They probably don't even know I'm on yet. That's all good. It's all to the bueno. So I'm asking you guys how y'all feel. I'm tired, I ain't gonna lie. I'm running around doing a lot of stuff. I gotta write a long ass paper. I gotta write an 8-page paper tomorrow. So that's another reason why I don't need to stay up late doing this. But let's move on. Let's get to the topic at hand. The name of it today is Lost in Conformity. Misery disguised as success. What does that mean to you guys? Lost in conformity and misery disguised as success. What does that mean to you? What I want to talk about is the constraints, right? The constraints that we put on ourselves on top of the constraints of society. So it's like we are the best agents for the machine. We are more efficient than the machine, even on causing us to be more constricted, like constricting each other, limiting each other. It's supposed to be the land of the free. How free do you feel? Do you feel comfortable enough to say things that you really want to say around your friends? I saw a study somewhere that they said that your friends, your closest friend, lies to you more than anybody else. They want to keep you happy. They don't want to upset you. So they tell you things that you like to hear. Those tend to be lies. But at the same time, that could be the same reason why you like them. That might be the reason. So, again, lost in conformity, misery disguised as success. What do y'all think about that? Imagine two couples, and they're going out to eat. They're going out to dinner. They're having dinner together. Two couples. They know each other. They're friends. They're friends from church, right? One of the ladies at the table say to the other lady, "Have you heard that new Beyonce song? Whatever. I really like that song. Beyonce? Nah, I haven't heard that. I only listen to gospel. Yeah, I don't let that stuff come into my domain like that. So, then they're one of them's ordering food, One's ordering food. They get 2 sides with their dinner, and they choose French fries and mashed potato. Somebody else at the table is like, "You're gonna have potato and potato." Matter of fact, make it mashed potatoes and broccoli. And then everybody at the table approves. Like, yeah, that's a better choice. Well, one of the couples asked the other couple, what you guys planning on getting each other for Christmas or whatever. The first couple is like, well, we're just gonna treat each other to the new iPhone. Yeah, so we're both gonna get new iPhones for Christmas. We're gonna buy them for each other, matching iPhones. Oh, that's really cute. Well, we're gonna take a trip to Italy for Christmas. Oh, wow, that's really nice. Yeah, it was expensive. So I was just trying to take you guys down into some ideas. Okay, these are all hypothetical type of conversations or whatever, right? So you got two coworkers. It's lunchtime, right? Hey, Bill. What's up, Tim? Bill. I've been thinking of like reducing my hours and working part-time and stuff, so I can focus on like education, so I can pursue a career or open a business or something. Bill says, what about your family, bruh? Don't you have a wife and 2 beautiful daughters? Yeah, I do, Tim says. I believe in myself. You know, I believe it'll all work out. I think that we make some sacrifices along the way, you know, and in the long run, it'll improve the quality of life for my family. Bill is like, what if it don't? What if you do all that work and you don't succeed and you don't make it? And you end up just making your family suffer throughout the whole process. So Tim is like, you're right. I'm going to just try to get promoted at this job. I'm going to just work harder and try to get the higher ups to see me. Maybe I can make it to SVP someday. Bill's like, yeah, that's more like that's a more sound plan. So you got 2 friends, right? 2 chicks, 2 female friends, right? And they're talking. One of them is like, hey, you don't like NBA Youngboy? She's like, nah. The other girl, nah, I don't like him, NBA Youngboy. She's like, NBA Youngboy be going hard. You don't know. Let me play some song. You probably just ain't heard the songs or whatever. Everybody is listening to it. It's really hot. So it must be something. What's wrong with you? Yeah. And you know what, girl? You should wear some lashes and get some bundles. You cute and all, but you could just like extenuate that, make it better. She's like, you know what? Yeah. The girl's like, wait. You think R. Kelly was a victim? You think that he was sexually assaulted as a kid? And you think that had any impact? No, what are you talking about? This guy's a horrible person. Like, he's a predator. So it doesn't even matter, if he, that's beside the point. Are y'all following me? I don't know. I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with me. Follow me. So it's like politics, right? You're not supposed to talk about it in, at work or, school, in any public settings. You're not supposed to talk about politics. And so I wonder, me, Chaka, I wonder why people are so ignorant about politics. You can't question your religion, because if you do, then that means you worship the devil. You're going to hell. If you act outside the accepted norm, it's offensive to people. It makes people uncomfortable. They want you to not make them feel uncomfortable and not make them feel self-conscious. So there you go with all the same outfits and the same attitudes, the same ideas on things. I saw a video. It's like a black guy and a white guy. They're friends, and the black guy, the white guy wears these very nice suits every day, and the black guy like, dang man, those suits are nice. He's like, yeah, whatever. It's like, the white guy's like, I just wear this. This is the uniform. I have to wear this. Like my dad wears this. My uncle wears this. My brother wears this. Dresses this way. If I could, I'd just wear a t-shirt. Some comfortable shorts and some flip flops. So, how free is that guy? How comfortable is that guy? He wears very nice suits, but he doesn't even want to wear them. He feels forced into them. Feels like he has to because it's his uniform. Let's go back to the couple. Let's go back to the two couples. No, this is a different two couples. They're neighbors. Okay. Honey, the mortgage and the car notes are taking most of what we make. The husband says. The wife says, well, we can't let the neighbors embarrass us. Okay. Neighbors, couples. Hear their neighbors. The neighbors are like, we have to eat sardines this month because the property taxes came in and you had to get that new car. Husband talking to wife. Wife says, we are higher class than the neighbors. And we have to make sure they know it. Y'all following me? Basically, what I'm saying is, you're not allowed to, right? You're not allowed to think outside of the norm. You're not allowed to do outside of the norm. You're supposed to be patriotic, like whatever country you're from. You're supposed to have pride in that country. One of the things I want to ask people about is like, what is whiteness and like, what is blackness really, right? Because even within whiteness, I feel like you're losing your identity, right? Because what is white? Who is white, right? Who are the white people? Is it Germans? Is it Italians? Is it English people? You know what I'm saying? Poland, Czechoslovakia. What Russian? What constitutes as white, really? And then like in the United States, are they, what's the ethnicity, right? What I'm saying is that when you take on an identity like white, you lose your ethnicity, right? You lose your identity. You conform to a culture or whatever. You conform to an identity, like a created identity, right? for the benefits of it, of course. But look at where you lost. Look at where you lost. And then you've got everyone around you pretending, right? They're all trying to make sure that they're white, that they have to fit it, you know? So they're always worried about stepping outside of what they're supposed to be doing, you know, that fits within the identity that they have taken on, you know. So every day, each other, we spar with each other, and we sharpen that identity of, you know, what we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to homogenize into, you know, the identities that we're supposed to project to the world. That's acceptable, of course, because, you know, one of the things I always say is that, you know, what they say is that, you know, you're not supposed to talk about race, or some people say it's racist to talk about race or whatever. But what I always say is that I know you're talking about it at home. You could pretend that you don't, and in public say, you know, I don't see color and I don't talk about race. It's racist to talk about race. But so if you really believe that, then when you're at home, you wouldn't talk about it. It would never come up, you know? You know? And like I say, the benefit of the race goes to who the system decides it to go to. And everybody gets punished, by the way, because they're losing their identity. They're taking on this artificial one. They're losing their individuality, their ethnicity, their, you know, their true self, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that even though a lot of people appear to be successful or happy or, you know, whatever, the stuff that you aspire to be, but those same people are confined into a smaller and smaller and smaller space, because they have to try to fit in and squeeze their little individuality into this homogenized view that they're supposed to be, you know, to be acceptable, because that's how the whole system works. That's how capitalism works, you know, in its present form. You know, it picks and chooses the winners and losers. The machine rewards those who uplift the machine, you know, the ones who do the machine's work for it, you know, the ones that mash on the other people before the machine even has to. Got them all flattened out and good to go and submissive already before the machine even come through with the press. Y'all following me? I feel like I'm all over the place. Where is everyone? Where the hell is everyone? I guess it's because I'm early. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see. That's not going to work. And like I say, I'm tired, man. My brain is tired. Oh yeah, did y'all hear about the school shootings? Couple new shootings. I think it was one in like Oklahoma, one in like Texas. A lot of people are saying, you know, just getting back to normal, you know. Just back to normal. Yeah, so I posted about it. I said, people kill people because that's what people are always saying, right? They always say, when they, to defend the guns, and then also the tyranny of the government. They say people kill people. I say, yeah, people kill people. They're just more effective when they have guns, you know. And the thing is, bro, like it ain't nothing wrong. I like to have a rifle, some kind of rifle. But what y'all have to understand is that every cycle, every news cycle, every freaking time they try to scare you into buying more guns. They're gonna take your guns away, you know. So it's all economics. They don't care about you, who got shot, who didn't get shot, whose kids got shot. They don't care about nothing like that. They just want to sell more guns and bullets every year. Every year. They want you to buy more guns and more bullets. The whole industry relied upon you being afraid that they're going to take your guns away or something else is going to happen. Some kind of major catastrophe, a World War IV, a civil war or something. So, yeah, so that's the thing. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for an opportunity to scare the shit out of you so you can buy more guns. That's really what it's about. And I know y'all don't see it, but that's what it's about. I wrote, the UK don't have mass shootings. They have mass stabbings. By the way, they also have universal health care. I said, you can run from a knife, but you cannot run from a chopper. Get to the chopper. Get down. Get down. Get to the chopper. Get down. Yeah, you can get down. The chopper is gonna hit you. You can run, jump, skip to me loo. Most likely one of them bullets gonna catch you. The dude don't even have to know what the hell he's doing. Pull the trigger back. The gun do the work for him. This one's heavy. I put, when you are accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Whoa, that's heavy, right? Let's say it again. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Swallow that for a second. Let's take that in. I wrote, if I have the same rights as you, I've taken nothing from you. Your life doesn't change. But if you want to see me without, then I understand what you lost. But I said, but if you want to see me without, then I understand what you lost. You lost the opportunity to look down on me. To look down on me is your illusion that you suffer from. What else did I say? The system has only losers and posers. Go through life pretending to be fair, pretending to be smarter, pretending to be superior, but you have lost your authenticity. You have lost your ethnicity. You're losing your humanity. Is it worth it when all you get in return is to appear happy? The cost of education in this country is based on racism and classism. Keep them exploitable at all costs, but the cost is high. Having an uneducated public doesn't benefit anyone. The other countries are pulling away. Preaching to the choir, huh? This one says, if your job can control what you say, who you associate with, what medicine you take, you don't have a job, you have a master. And I wrote, the government takes a back seat to corporations in controlling your life. Your job dictates your life way more than the government. I wish that you guys would try to understand that shit. Anyways. How y'all feel? How y'all feel out there? Y'all feel good? Where my people at? I have some more stuff. Let me see. Y'all give me a second. Ugh. I'm losing it. I have something, but I lost it. Oh, Pet say he's coming. What the hell? Fuck. History. Scroll. It smells like my computer's getting too hot. The hell is up with that? I guess what we can do is a little bit of news, if y'all want. Because I'm losing it. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't have it together. It's probably because I came on too fucking soon. I came on way too fast. Was not ready, y'all. Let's watch some Democracy Now! While I get my shit together.
Frances Haugen gave explosive testimony before a Senate subcommittee Tuesday, denouncing the social media giant for prioritizing astronomical profits over the safety of billions of users. Haugen's testimony gave a rare glimpse into the secretive tech company, which she accused of harming children, sowing division by boosting hateful content, and undermining democracy. Haugen urged lawmakers to enact strict oversight over Facebook before it's too late. This is Frances Haugen.
Facebook wants you to believe that the problems we're talking about are unsolvable. They want you to believe in false choices. They want you to believe that you must choose between a Facebook full of divisive and extreme content or losing one of the most important values our country was founded upon, free speech. That you must choose between public oversight of Facebook's choices and your personal privacy. That to be able to share fun photos of your kids with old friends, you must also be inundated with anger-driven virality. They want you to believe that this is just part of the deal. I am here today to tell you that's not true.
Frances Haugen's testimony comes after she leaked tens of thousands of pages of internal Facebook documents. We'll have more on this story after headlines. The Senate's expected to vote on a procedural step that would bring a suspension of the debt ceiling to a floor vote, even as Republicans insist they won't support the move. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell told President Biden earlier this week Democrats would have to pass the bill through reconciliation, even though Republicans could allow the measure to pass with a simple majority. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted Republicans what he called irresponsibility.
We can stop this Republican-manufactured debt ceiling crisis in its tracks, or Republicans can keep driving our country ever closer to the first default in American history.
On Tuesday, President Biden said Democrats could move to reform filibuster rules to bypass the Republican blockade on the debt limit, though conservative Democrats Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have previously voiced their opposition to filibuster changes. According to research by ProPublica, the national debt rose by $7.8 trillion to $28 trillion, due in large part to Republicans and then President Trump's 2017 tax cuts for corporations and the ultra-rich. Constituents of Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema are stepping up pressure on the corporate Democrat as she continues to threaten passage of the sweeping reconciliation package that would expand the nation's social safety net and combat the climate emergency. On Monday, Corina Ruiz, head of the Arizona Dream Act Coalition and a former volunteer on the Sinema campaign, approached the senator on her flight to D.C. to ask her to support immigration reform as part of the legislation.
I just need to know if you can commit to passing a budget reconciliation that would include immigration and citizenship for people to be protected, like me and many others. Can you commit to that, Senator?
Senator Sinema mostly ignored Ruiz, even as she went on to share about her father's recent death. After her flight landed, Sinema was confronted by other constituents at the airport about what she wanted to cut from the Democrats' Build Back Better Act.
Do you want to cut climate priorities? Is it elder care that you want to cut, or is it child care?
The state of Missouri executed Ernest Lee Johnson Tuesday after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a petition to delay the killing, and despite pleas from lawmakers, activists, and even the Vatican to spare Johnson, who had an intellectual disability. It was Missouri's first execution in over a year and the 7th in the U.S. this year. In international news, Taiwan's defense minister says tensions with China are at their worst in 40 years, flagging the risk of an accidental strike after China sent a record number of military planes into Taiwanese airspace over the past 4 days. Taiwan said China would be able to mount a full-scale invasion of Taiwan by 2025. President Biden said Tuesday he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping, and both leaders agreed to adhere to an ongoing agreement between Beijing and Washington amidst the mounting tensions. The Taiwan Relations Act directs the U.S. to recognize Beijing rather than Taipei as its diplomatic partner. The U.S. provides weapons to Taiwan but does not take a position on its sovereignty. Amnesty International says the Taliban killed at least 13 members of the Hazara ethnic group on August 30th, shortly after the group took control of Afghanistan. Among the dead were 11 former government forces and a 17-year-old girl. In other news from Afghanistan, the Wall Street Journal reports Kabul risks facing major blackouts over the winter because the new Taliban government has not paid its electricity suppliers. Afghanistan does not have a national power grid. Kabul relies on imported electricity from Central Asian countries. The UN Security Council is meeting today to discuss the crisis in Ethiopia and the recent expulsion of 7 senior UN officials from Ethiopia amidst the mounting humanitarian crisis in the war-torn Tigray region. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said last week he rejected expulsion. This is Jens Larke of the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs.
It is critically important that the humanitarian operation continues, and it does. We have a very high number of people in very urgent need in Tigray. In fact, 5.2 million people up there are in urgent need of assistance.
According to a CNN report, Ethiopia also used its flagship commercial airline to transport weapons during the war in Tigray. Romania's parliament has ousted Prime Minister Florin Câțu in a vote of no confidence after less than 1 year in power. Câțu will remain as the caretaker prime minister, and it's likely the previous ruling coalition will eventually replace his government. Romania has had a rapid succession of short-lived leaders over the past decade. In France, union leaders led a nationwide strike Tuesday to protest low wages and planned reforms to pensions and unemployment benefits. Workers are hoping to put pressure on the government of Emmanuel Macron ahead of next year's presidential election. This is a pensioner demonstrating Tuesday in Paris.
Everyone's purchasing power is going down, that of pensioners, of workers, of those who are unemployed, of the disabled. It's disgusting. Billions of euros are there. We just saw that tax evasion accounts for billions and billions of euros around the world. That could be enough to pay salaries in the hospitals, in the schools, a decent public service. I'm here because of all that. I'm here for the future of humanity too, because we can talk about the climate in a general way, but if we don't change the system, it's as useless as a fart underwater.
Back in the United States, some 1,400 workers across all of Kellogg's cereal plants went on strike Tuesday as union negotiations have stalled for more than a year. The strike includes plants in Omaha, Nebraska, Battle Creek, Michigan, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Memphis, Tennessee. A union representative says Kellogg's is threatening to outsource jobs to Mexico if workers don't accept the company's proposals, which include loss of premium health care, holiday and vacation pay, and reduced retirement benefits. Workers are also demanding better wages. Here in New York, the head of the Sergeants Benevolent Association police union resigned Tuesday, hours after the FBI raided its Manhattan headquarters. The home of now former union president Ed Mullins was also searched, though it's unclear what the target of the federal investigation is. The family of Henrietta Lacks, the African-American patient whose cells were taken by Johns Hopkins University Hospital without her consent in 1951, is suing the pharmaceutical company Thermo Fisher Scientific and demanding reparations and the intellectual property of those cells. The lawsuit denounces a racist medical system and accuses the drug company of using what is known as the HeLa cell line without their consent while making billions of dollars in profit. 7 decades ago, it was discovered that Lacks cells could live forever, helping scientists produce remedies for several diseases, including the first polio vaccine. And the U.S. Postal Service has launched a pilot program to offer some banking services in 4 cities. Customers in Washington, D.C., Falls Church, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, and the Bronx in New York can now cash paychecks and other types of checks up to $500 for a fee that's much lower than private cashing companies. The service, if expanded, could provide a government-run, more accessible option to the 14 million U.S. residents who are underbanked or unbanked. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now! Democracy.
Hey,
What's going on, man?
what's up, man? How you feel?
Feel pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm all right.
How does
did you catch?
my camera look? My
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
trying to get it figured out.
Did you catch any of the stuff I said at the beginning? I tried to have a good monologue ready. That shit is way harder than it looks, man. I tell you what.
No, I didn't know. I just really kind of got on. I took a nap and
Yeah,
I think the time difference kind of messed me up because
me too. Yeah, I took a little short nap before too, and I really wasn't ready. I ain't gonna lie, I was not ready, but I was dedicated in starting the show earlier because I want to starting the show earlier. So that's where we are. And then I was trying to do something different, and then I had my little monologue that I did at the beginning. Anyways. Yeah, so
yeah.
what I was talking about, well, anyways, let's talk about the video. Anything stand out from the video, the little the news clips?
Honestly, this is the first one I really could really kind of hear, but I'm trying to, because I gotta, instead of running from my phone, trying to run from my laptop, and I had other stuff going on that was overlapping it, so I couldn't really hear both. But I got it figured out like at the last minute and a half or so of the video. So no, sorry. I know. Just give me kind of a rundown because I saw some of the video. So, but as far as hearing everything,
damn it, I can't even really remember right now. So much stuff she talked about. She went over a bunch of stuff. I like to watch that show, Democracy Now! You ever seen that? Democracy Now! They do like a daily news show that they stream. It's kind of liberal. It's a liberal channel,
Of
but
course.
and they try to just give the news, but it's always a little bit slanted liberally. So yeah, but I like the channel though. I mean, because they give really good information. It gives you stuff to look up. That's what I do. That's how I use it. It's like the first show I watch in the morning when I wake up. Is well, as soon as they drop it, anyways, I watch their little overall news clip series. That's the one that I just played, and it helps. It gives me other stuff to look up. They talked about the lady with the cells that they have, the black lady, and they've been holding her cells and using it to make vaccines and stuff. And the family, the children of her, are suing, for the intellectual property related to those cells. And it's like it's a university, I think, that has them.
Oh yeah, no, I did hear that part, and they're being sued for, I forget what the amount was, but the Henrietta Lacks thing. That's something that, of course, I've heard about for many years. And did they say how they were able to get like we own the property, or was it just
I
something that
want to
she finally
say
realized?
when she died, did she volunteer it? I don't know. I remember that story because this is a big story. But I can't remember how those details work. Did she give it to them? Did they take it when she died? I think they took her blood without her, permission or whatever or something. I don't know. I don't remember the details of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the family should get something. I mean, the way that their ancestor had to. I mean, it's just kind of like being against that would be somebody that's like against reparations or something. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, they used something that's beneficial up to this day for their progress without paying any kind of, like, I mean, you're taking property of someone, selling it, using it, replicating it, doing all kinds of things, and making extreme profits, and then think that you should never have to pay up. I mean, I don't know. It's just
Yeah, it goes back to slavery, because that's what it is. It's just kind of like really just using somebody's body for your own profit and not paying them shit.
yeah. pretty much.
The other big story was the Kellogg story because they're striking. The Kellogg's people, the factory, and it's in like 3 states. As far as I understand, they pretty much have shut down all Kellogg's production. So why they're mad? They're mad because during the pandemic, they had them working like 16-hour shifts, and with no day off, because the demand for the Kellogg's products increased like crazy during the pandemic because people were eating at home and stuff. And so these guys were like frontline workers, didn't get a day off, working hard. The company made so much extra money. All the executives got huge ass bonuses. And I don't think they paid these people for overtime and shit like that during the time when they made them work all them extra hours and all of this stuff. And
Isn't
also
that
they're also
isn't that supposed to be like legally supposed to happen? Like,
well, these companies do whatever the hell they fucking want. I don't know how it works with the overtime. I could be wrong about that. They're complaining about, they made all this money and they didn't give us nothing in return. You know what I'm saying? We busting our ass. Basically, we're the ones who made the money for y'all. And also they're complaining about like, the factory conditions, the safety of it, stuff like that. They just want regular work hours and regular days off and shit like that, and fair pay.
yeah.
They have a union.
Oh yeah, they'll get it if they got the lawyers in the union or got their heart in the right place. Yeah.
Or they'll just fire everybody and hire new people.
Yeah, they could do that, but then there'll be a lot of lawsuits behind that as well. And then they can go work somewhere else and still get a big check from Kellogg's. Because I mean, the biggest thing will be the time loss in between, them quitting or getting fired or whatever. But usually when it comes down to these unions, they get the money.
That's why we need more unions.
Yeah, that would be good. Shoot, I think that was one, but that was like one of the things that happened with Walmart. So, I mean, Walmart, they were trying whenever they tried to start a union within Walmart, shoot, that DC or that warehouse, they would just shut down and go start somewhere else.
Yeah. Walmart not trying to hear it, because they got stores all over the place. So as soon as one union start up, that shit gonna spread like wildfire.
Yep.
And I worked somewhere before where they make you sign like a waiver or something to say that you're not gonna join a union and shit. But and then these corporations be doing shit like that all the time, which is really illegal, but you don't really know it. And then it's like that thing that you signed, sometimes it's not valid, like it's not legal, so you're not binded to it. You know what I'm saying? So even if they make you sign some stupid shit like that, you're not really binded to it because it wasn't really legal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They like to scare everybody that way and be like, even if you talk to somebody, that's trying to get a union or anything,
Well, one of the things that people need to remember when it comes down. Well, let me ask you, what does it take in order for a contract to be valid?
Both parties need to agree with the terms, basically,
and signatures of both parties.
Yeah.
A corporation has no signature.
Right.
So anytime it comes down to it, I mean, and nobody that's like at the top of the chain is going to sign it to take the responsibility for that. So in most cases, those contracts aren't valid in the first place, if you want to even consider the contract.
Yeah. Yeah. So they be scaring the shit out of people. And I think that's a very, that tactic works. It works really well.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyways, like the name of the show is Lost in Conformity, Misery Disguised as Success. So what do you think about that? What did you think that meant or whatever?
Well, I guess, I guess I had a few different scenarios that ran through my mind that, like, I guess for me, like, with the biggest thing that's been going on with the Jabberwocky, people are kind of, just running and, it's hard. Like, I mean, like I said, not everybody is just doing it just because, everybody else is doing it or somebody told them to do it. But for the most part, it's, the whole get back to norm idea that is doing something in order for you to, you're conforming to whatever these people are saying so that you can get what you believe is available, which is what we, the old normal. But it's kind of, I guess I don't have the best way to express express, at least not right now anyway. But however, I think there's a lot of different ways that conformity actually comes into play, because I mean, like the conversation we had the other night, oh, getting everybody thinking they need to do some kind of butt lift or breast, doing different things to enhance their body just so that they can be recognized by whoever they're, like for girls trying to get more attention from guys, and this, that, and the other, even though it's under a fake premise, like
Right.
it's not. Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of different ways that can be seen
That
as far
that
as
that definitely fits in my idea that I had about this. That definitely fits because the thing is that like the idea is like the fear that you have, right? Of going outside of the norm, not fitting in. And also how like your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, they always putting pressure on you. Like you're supposed to just get a job and, just work. And if you don't do that, you're just lazy. You're supposed to have pride in your nation, in the nation that you live in, if you do, and if you don't, then what the hell is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then it's like the main point that I really want to stress about this is that people see other people and they think that they're all happy and they're free and they're successful, but a lot of these people are stuck too. You know what I mean? Even if it's the CEO of this damn corporation, this guy could totally be stuck in this identity that he has to play every day. You know what I mean? Like he is boxed in really specifically, right? So like I made some examples about how like your neighbor wants to, your neighbor, you live in a nice neighborhood, you bought a nice house. Now your neighbor bought this really nice ass car and they're pulling in and out. You keep seeing them pull into their driveway and you're like, fuck. So then you go get a nice ass car. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want them to be shining on you like that. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you in the house, you and the wife is in the house. Y'all budget so tight this month that y'all eating sardines this month because y'all literally don't have any money left over, no liquid cash to pay for food. And you have this big, huge house, very nice, brand new car.
Yeah. And you're scraping nickels together to get groceries for the week.
And again, that could be that CEO guy, because that's what I'm trying to say is what people don't really understand is that like the way this system is set up, it puts us all in little boxes. You know what I mean? We're all in these little conformity ass boxes where we have to keep face, we have to save face, we have to keep up appearances, we have to, appear to be happy. We can never be, look like we're sad. Like you're the CEO, you can't have a bad day. How the hell? You know what I mean? And then it's kind of like we worship these people too. It's like we aspire to be them. And that's another reason why they're even more stuck than we are, because they can't be seen outside of this fake ass perception that that has been created for them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely I've seen it. I mean, I know some people who actually that's lived that that not necessarily the CEO, but just the idea that they pretty much just want, they don't want you to shine harder than they shine, and shoot, some of them have even tried to start selling drugs just so that they can be able to fit into a certain image or to get a certain type of clout that they think is cool, which, you know, I mean, anybody that's ever been there knows it's really it's survival tactics if it really comes down to doing that, you know. But however, yeah, that's more common than we know. Um, can't really say I know any CEOs that's,
But it's more
do I
about
even
the
know any CEO?
idea.
Well, yeah, I know some CEOs.
But it's more
Yeah,
about the idea, because still
but
the same thing in what you're saying is like the
oh,
rappers, like, right? They have to take on this persona, right? Like bad guy or whatever it is, and drug dealer or whatever it is, gangster, right? So wherever he goes,
oh
he got
yeah,
to keep up this
buying all this,
image.
buying all the crazy jewelry that, you know, like what's the dude that got the doggone thing in the middle of his head? Is it the Lil
Lil Uzi
Baby,
Vert,
or
Lil Uzi
is it
Vert,
okay? Well,
Uzi Vert.
yeah, come out the you know, the shit is fake, and also, you know, got a fake, you know, like he, all the money that he supposedly spent on this stuff, and it comes out that it's not even real, because I think somebody stole it and pulled the shit out of his forehead, and then like the watch think was fake. So it's just kind of like, you know, who you trying to prove, you know, why, you know, so why go through all of that to prove to somebody that you balling, and then here it is, it still comes out that it's just a
And
bunch of
you
fake
gotta
shit.
wonder, you gotta wonder, you gotta wonder. A lot of these people, like Lil Uzi Vert, need, they have to appear to be happy, but how happy are they? You know, I'm willing to bet a lot of these people are miserable as fuck. What was his name? The white guy. He died from the drug overdose. The rapper, a couple years ago. He's actually pretty good. Mac Miller. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So recently, because the guy who sold him the drugs, they caught him and he's in jail. So it's been in the news recently.
Well,
Because the drugs,
was it
the drugs were laced with the fentanyl, right? It was
that's what?
the fake Percocets. And
Mm,
so that night, Mac Miller had got drugs from two different people. One person was the real perks, and the other person had some of those perks weren't real. And Mac Miller took a number of the he took a couple of the real ones, and he took a couple of the not real ones, and basically that shit killed him, right? So, but my point of that
yeah,
is, to come back to what we're talking about, is how happy was how happy was Mac Miller really? How happy was
probably
he
not.
if he was?
Probably not happy at all. Because I mean, I'm realizing more and more that when it really comes down to like people that's taking drugs, they're self medicating in order to, you know, fill a void that that they're having socially, professionally. In most cases, that's pretty much what's going on, especially when it comes to the hard drugs. I mean, you know, the marijuana, you know, that some people really are self-medicating there too, but at the same time, it's just like for you to be taking these drugs, especially if it's on a regular basis, daily basis, like you in some kind of pain that you're trying to hide or keep, you know, keep yourself from realizing all of the truths that you live with. You know what I'm saying? So it's I mean, it's, I hate it for them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, I know some people who really get into that whole drug thing, and you know, popping pills, snorting coke, and
And
whatever else.
I think that this thing about the conformity, lost in conformity, is a big reason why this is it's a pandemic, epidemic. Facebook is in trouble, right? The lady is that was on the show too that I just played. Facebook is in trouble. The lady is a whistleblower lady. and she came out with some documents that said Facebook knew that its content was harmful to like young girls and stuff like that. So I want to focus on the young girls one because that goes along with the conformity too, because it's like, yeah, the girls are they get depressed scrolling on Instagram because they're looking at the other girls or whatever. They're so pretty or whatever.
Oh,
And a lot of these girls, they're committing suicide. And then what they realized was that the app was addictive to them, and it makes them depressed. And the more depressed they are, the more they want to use the app. It's kind of like a reoccurring. It's like a, the more depressed they are, the more they use the app. The more the app makes them depressed, the more they want to use the app.
yeah. Yeah, this is something that they've been knowing for a long time. The science, I mean, even during the creation of it, they were, they knew what type of things to do in order to get your dopamine supply running. And yeah, this is far from new information, but they're actually who's actually doing the lawsuit?
There's no lawsuit.
I thought you said that somebody was suing Facebook or Instagram or
Well,
whatever.
they're in trouble, and a lot's going on because the other day they shut down Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and it was down for like more than 7 hours, and that was like the first time it has been down that long since the beginning. It just so happened to be right around the time this lady, she worked for Facebook, for like 2 years, and she was in the algorithm. She was in, she had like an executive position, and her job was related to the algorithms. And she was just saying, like, Facebook know that this is harmful, and they said that they turned certain things off in the algorithm during the election when things started getting bad, and then they turned it back on, and they said that it could have led to this ethnic cleansing that happened in Myanmar, some because Facebook is around the world, and what she was saying was they don't care about other languages. So if it's outside of English or French, the algorithm's not going to catch like the hate speech and all of this, horrible stuff, all of these really bad things that keep getting rotated, and shared.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
she said that they don't have enough people. They said that they need to hire actual humans to do more of the, making sure that the content is clean, because the algorithm, because Zuckerberg came out and said like 90% or 99%, the algorithm catches 99% of the hate speech stuff. But in their own documents, it's more like 2-3%. So she stole information, photocopied or whatever, forms, and then she quit. And then she quit the job and she left with the stuff. And now, she's come out with it. And so that's the thing. So she got to talk in front of Congress. There's no lawsuit, but she spoke in front of Congress and they asked her a bunch of questions. So they asked Zuckerberg to be there, I think. But they said he was sailing. And I was like, when I was reading that story, I was like, if you ask me, like, hey, Zuck, can you show up? I'm like, nah, nigga, you better subpoena me, nigga. You got a nigga like that, person like that, you got to force him to come to court. You can't be like, hey, bro, you want to come holler at us about this situation? Nah,
Yeah.
man, holler at my secretary, nigga. I'm on vacation.
Yeah. I could definitely see that, because I mean, I probably wouldn't be looking forward to come and do it, and especially in a short notice, like no time to really prepare. What's with whatever it is going on. Like I mean, only an idiot, I think, would really just be like, oh yeah, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm right around the corner. I'll be there in a few minutes. I mean, no. But no, that when you gave that idea, that was also one of the thoughts of, like how, the conformity, or how it could actually kind of fall into that, is that, like, you see these girls that's, the same very girls that you're talking about taking these pictures, like dolling themselves up, trying to get the validation, trying to get the likes, trying to get all these different things for, just for somebody to, you know, validate their looks, or like I know there's somebody that's real close to me that does it all the time, and it actually kind of drives me nuts because I'm like, look, what you know what I'm saying? You're married. Your validation should be coming from your husband. Don't be worrying about what everybody else in the world thinks about, talking about, that it drives me nuts because I know where it's coming from. And she's one of these people who has had surgery in order for them to feel good about themselves, and then now after the surgery they got all this stuff in place where they want it. Now they on social media trying to get other people to be like, oh yeah, girl, you doing it, like trying to, I guess, needing to hear all these different things in order for their day to be okay.
And that's exactly it, because that's lost in conformity and misery disguised as success. Because how happy is that person if they're even if they get 30,000 likes, right? And the next picture only gets 20,000 likes, and like, what did I do wrong? And then they look at the other girls, and the other girls' pictures are getting 400,000 likes, and she's like, well, shit, I'm still not, I ain't doing shit. I gotta get up to 80,000 likes, or
Yeah, I didn't have my lipstick out, like in the back of their mind, they'd be like, oh, well, you know what? It was probably my lipstick. It didn't go well with this and that and
or
blah blah
my
blah.
eyelashes, or
Yeah.
my bundles, or maybe I need to do some more surgery. Maybe I need to lift my cheekbones, or mess with my nose ain't quite perfect enough.
Yeah.
I want
It's
them to accept me. I want to be perfect. That's one of the things I was watching. Cardi B said that in one of her clips, because they were messing with her about her surgery that she had. And she was like, what's wrong with me wanting to have perfect tits? I want my tits to be perfect. So that's just what I want. And what's wrong with that?
But what's perfect? I like little ones. I like big ones. I like the medium ones. I like, shoot, I like the imbalanced ones that got one that's bigger than the other. Like, I mean,
Exactly. Natural is what's perfect.
you know,
God made you perfect. So you're disrespecting God by modifying his creation. That's how I feel. Because I can't.
I actually think it's sinful.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's sinful. Because what I was about to say is, when I used to go to the mosque, sometimes I might have a t-shirt on at the mosque, and I have tattoo on 2 arms. So a little bit of my tattoo come out of the bottom of my shirt at the mosque. The little kid is like, why you have tattoo? Why you have tattoo? You can't have tattoo and be Muslim. That's against God. That tattoo is against God. This little kid making me feel all uncomfortable and shit, bro. Like, it was really making me feel, because he kept going on and on about it.
Yeah.
Until his dad told him to shut up or some shit like that. Like, but
like, damn it, I had this tattoo before I converted.
Yeah, whatever. So like, but that's it though, because I don't feel like the tattoo is necessarily, because it's more like it's kind of like paint or whatever. I think. I mean, even though it can't be taken away, but it's still not like really like altercation, because kind of like piercings. I think if the piercings get out of hand too, though. But I think just a little bit of piercings. I guess that goes with our cultural, like what we accept, right? We're like, okay,
Yep.
we're like saying body modifications. We're saying body modifications are evil, as long as they're not piercings or tattoos, right? Like,
well, and that's
exceptions.
why I was saying. I mean, somebody would definitely say, if you were having an argument about that, they would definitely add that in as if you're it's this as it being the same thing, and I would accept that. I'll be like, okay, you know what, I mean, I have a couple of tats myself, and I just be like, well, I guess you're right. You know what? I mean, I'm I'm no better, but I'm not getting any more. I haven't, in which that's probably a lie. I do want more tattoos.
They're
I don't,
addictive, definitely. Yeah, once you
yeah.
get one, they're addictive.
So I mean, I guess I think a lot of that leads back to why you're doing it. You know, um, in your heart, if you feel like, this thing is gonna actually make you better, you know, than you were before. Because I mean, I don't think most people getting tattoos are like, I want somebody to accept me for my new tattoo. Like there's people that's like, oh, I hope they like this new butt I just spent $10,000 on, so they trying to be accepted. I mean, most people you don't know they have tattoos unless you just, what I'm saying. I don't know. In order, I have to show mine. I don't have them all over my body. Like, I mean, for the most part,
Yeah.
mine.
I always feel like, for the most part, that's how I always felt like it's better to get a tattoo where you can, because of the society that we live in, you might need to put it away. So just don't put it in a place where you can't cover it,
Yeah, I was hiding.
because that's how I
I
was
was,
taught. Yeah.
yeah, I was hiding mine from my mom. You
Yeah.
know, I did it when I was like 16. You know what I'm saying? The first one anyway. So that was my reason for doing it, was, so my mom wouldn't see it. I wouldn't have to explain it late. But, turned out that she didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
She
So,
asked what it meant, but yeah.
but like, back to what you were saying though about the ladies getting the body augmentations and want to be perfect, uh and still, after doing all that, just appearing to be happy, and maybe miserable as hell, and
Yeah,
what's crazy about that is all the other girls are looking at them and aspiring to be like them. Wow. So those girls need to tell the other girls that this ain't as cracked up as you think it is. I'm not as happy as you think I would be after getting all these surgeries.
well, the thing about it is that I think a lot of people miss, because I mean, yeah, there's some that's just genuinely they want a certain look and this, that, and the other, but a lot of this stuff has happened systematically. I mean, like, I remember it started off with boob jobs and this, that, and the other, but the part that I think that they're missing is that they're pushing more people to try to do stuff like that because it's generating more money in different areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole, like, a lot of times those things are linked, how you look, the whole makeup idea. Because who I was listening to somebody, and they was talking about how Mademoiselle, lied purposely. Like, they said, like, they agreed that they lied to women in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, to get them to, buy all of these different products, like, these different things to try to make them fit in. So they've been psychologically messing with women specifically to get them to buy products that they were selling, and that's the whole Maybelline and this and that and the third, just to try to get you to, you spend unnecessary money. This is what's gonna make you look good. This is what's gonna make you feel better. This is what's gonna, get you more guys. This is, like, what I'm saying, and to get you the attention that you want. This whole attention culture didn't just start with social media. It's been going on with the magazines and TV and all this other stuff. So I mean,
I think it's a whole economy. I mean, it's a whole industry that's based on that, and I think that's what it's all about. And when you start looking at the real basic root of the problems, most of the problems, you will find capitalism, like profit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what drives that, right? They don't give a damn about those little girls. They trying to make as much money as they can off of them.
Yeah, I mean that even goes to like I mean when we're talking about the whole industry and the bottom line profit and this, that, and the other, the whole food pyramid thing, that was a lie. Like all these things that you supposedly need to live a healthy life, but that's the very thing that's got millions of people with diabetes.
It just so happened to be the stuff that they sell in their stores, the
Yeah,
cereal and milk and cheese.
because I mean even in Christian belief before, like the hope, it wasn't just, Islam or Muslims that didn't eat pork or thought the pork was bad meat, but because they wanted to be able to sell it to the people because that was another,
Because it was cheap.
way of revenue.
It's cheap. Pigs are easy as hell, and that to this day, my teacher said in my diseases and antiquity class, because somehow the pigs came up. She said pigs are a way to turn trash into meat. Think about that, because that's what they do. They tend to feed pigs trash because they literally will eat trash, garbage, stuff that no other animal would eat. And they're gonna gobble that shit up and fucking it turns into meat because they cut them up and sell them to your ass. So yeah, that's why they got pig. That's why they got bacon and everything, because they made us addicted to it, or they tried to, or whatever, because that was a part of the marketing so that they can sell the pigs. It's really simple. Pigs are easy. They weigh. Cows take a long ass time. My family used to do cows. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing with them for like, I don't know. It's like 3 years or some shit. Right?
Yeah, I don't know the exact time.
It's a good amount of time. It's some years.
But yeah,
Pigs
well,
take some months, I think.
and it kind of depends too, because I mean, a lot of times they're selling calf meat. So, you get a calf, I mean, you might be able to get your process down under a year, but the calves, they got to get up to a certain size to, they got to be past the whole,
Yeah, I know
milk.
cows take a long time, and that's the same reason we're on a good topic though, because chickens, right? We got to go to chickens because chickens grow a lot faster, and that's the reason why chicken is like the #1 ate food product.
Well,
They
and then plus they're able to give them those steroids that pump them up and get them bigger within a short period of time. So I mean, they've learned different processes, which hurt us more because it's not natural. And then the saline that they'll pump into it after they've
right.
chopped it up and all that. So
All this kind of shit, and then what they try to say, what they try to market to people was that the meat was bad. Eating meat is bad, but it's not necessarily that. It's more that the meat that we eat is bad. And so, but then they created this whole other fucking industry for the people.
vegan,
Exactly. They're making a killing off of that shit because
yeah,
they
because
charging
the
niggas out the ass for that.
well, yeah, but also the supply chain is getting lesser and lesser. So now if they can discuss certain people from eating certain things, because this wasn't just like a generic thing. Like this was
I
something that
know
was
they
actually,
created it. Yes.
yeah.
The whole thing with yoga, the yoga mats, it was an identity. This goes along with the conformity because they created this identity that you're like it's kind of like a new age hippie. You do yoga, you don't eat meat, and you're spiritual.
Oh yeah, but no, even all the way down to the you can't eat like you can't wear leather. Like that's how like some serious vegans really go down to as far as that, where like you don't wear things that was made by from animals. So
So it's like no cruelty. They say no cruelty or some shit like that. Yeah. Makeups, anything that have any kind of animal products in it. Yeah.
yeah,
Shampoos, soaps.
yes, all that kind of stuff. So this is all like this is stuff that is manufactured in our heads first. Like they create these different ideas that because of the state of our culture, a lot of times they bring in different things that might help prolong for, because I mean there's some people that's just not gonna ever give up any kind of meat. Like I probably won't give up meat, but I do slack off of it because I know, as far as how my
But
body
but
accepts it.
again, I have to go back to the reality that it's not the meat, and it got everybody all fucked up. But let me talk a couple points because I know
I
you
don't
agree
eat
with me.
pork. I don't eat pork, but
Pork
yeah,
pork is a whole nother subject. Let's
yeah.
scratch pork off the subject matter. The way the meat is produced is the issue. Just kind of like we was talking about how they grow the fruits and vegetables too. It's the same thing. So remember, like we said, back in the country, you go to the country, you got the little chicken that was running around, or you go to Mexico, you go to the valley, you go to the hood, any fucking where, niggas got chickens. You eat that chicken, that is okay. You know what I'm saying? That one is healthier. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's the process that they did. It's just like the fish. I saw this video about the fish, about the farm raised fish, and them feeding them trash, and then the fish being in this like stressful ass environment its whole life. So of course it's not gonna be this healthy for you because this fish ate pretty much trash its whole life, and then it had a stressful ass, like unnatural ass fucking environment its whole life.
Well, there's a lot of like I saw something. This has been some months ago, maybe over a year now, but that was showing how they create these chickens in a lab, and it's not like the old school incubation. Not this is a form of incubation, but it's not like what it used to be. But they are actually cracking the egg open, putting it in some little, like, it's like a big cabinet, like almost like a, what you call, like your business cabinets, but however it's built like that.
Some kind of incubator.
It is an incubator, but they're cracking the eggs open, and somehow it's making featherless chickens.
To make the process go slower, faster, so they don't have to pull the feathers. That sounds like some genetic modifications right there.
Well,
But
it definitely is, but
but I want to talk about also like the slaughter. You remember, like, and this is in the Bible, this is in the Quran. The way you slaughter the animal is important, right? And
yeah,
then
halal.
at halal. And African people, I think, know this a lot better than a lot of people around the world because they still kind of do it. But the way our systems are over here, everything is all automated. It's just these systems. And so the trauma. So what about the trauma that animal went through during his life
Mhm.
and at the point where it was slaughtered? And
Yeah.
then now we're talking about like kind of like the spiritual aspect of these things too, the energies, the vibrations that the meat absorbed, and then you consume it.
That is very important, and most people don't realize that you can get sick from like you any kind of animal that's gotten received any kind of trauma. If it's in fear, when like it can even happen with like a deer, like some of the healthier type of meat, less fat and all kind of stuff. But if it is actually like that adrenaline that's pumping through his body when it, if you, let's say you shoot and then it miss and it starts running, trying to run for his life, and then it gets shot on the second time, then it's going to probably not be as good a meat that it would have been because of that fear that went through his body. And that happens with pretty much any animal, because like you said, it goes down into the spiritual part of, a lot of people don't really think of the importance of that, but halal, like I like going to those restaurants, those I guess it's different people, but it's usually the Muslim places, that restaurants that promote halal. Like I really like going there, and for some reason I do feel better after eating that food. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's the Jewish food too. They
the
have
Jew,
Christian
yeah,
they have Christian halal too, but it'd be Muslim and Jewish. So really all real Muslims and Jewish people, they only gonna really eat halal. So that's the reason why if they really believe, if they follow in the religion, so that means that they'll drive all the way to the other side of town. But that's the reason why you
hmm
have a good amount of these halal places here, around, because these people eat regularly. They're gonna cook. They go to their own little grocery stores too, so they buy from halal grocery store. But they, sometimes they're gonna want to eat, so they have to go to these other places on a regular basis. So yeah, that's really cool to have them. And I say the food does taste better.
yeah.
Uh,
And we had to think about some of the ways that the people are killing them, or killing the animals. Like with cows, a lot of times, like it's a bunch of cows lined up, and they're looking at the cow in front of them getting smacked in the head with
right,
a
right,
sledgehammer. That
right.
there is freaking them out. So it's
That's
like,
trauma.
yeah,
That's trauma. And it's got to go into the meat. It's got to, So that's what I'm saying, though. And again, it goes back to capitalism. The reason why they do it like that is because they want to streamline the process and all of this, maximize profit. So they maximize that whole thing about maximizing profit is evil, because it creates evil processes, and it creates evil products. And it's the profit over people model that creates the class structures that we have too, where all the money goes to the few and everyone else is exploited.
yeah. You know, um, as far as it comes down with some of the processes, I think, because I mean, I don't think Max try, when it goes into excessive acts in order to maximize your dollar. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think we all have to live within reason. Um, but as far as just saying that it's evil to maximize your dollar, I mean that's just like you going to apply for a job, and instead of knowing you can get $25 or $30, and you just like, well, I don't want to be evil, just pay me 20. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's you don't want
Well,
to just say maximizing your dollar is just totally evil.
I,
But I think,
I agree. I mean, you have to have the balance. I'm
yeah.
just saying the basic structure, the way capitalism, it's this predatory capitalism. It's the form of capitalism that has become, is, it's evil. It is. It's systematically evil, because it creates evil people, it creates evil systems, and it creates evil products. That's what I'm saying, over and over and over and over and over again. So I think for us to try to fix the problems in our society, that's the first thing we have to look at, because everything is economics. Everything is economic. The whole wars are economic. You know what I mean? Death is economic. Starvation, wages, poverty is economic. And those are all this doesn't cover all our problems, but this is the basis of a lot of them. And if we want to really be real about getting to the bottom of it, then we need to look at that, because the way the company because the point of this also is that governments don't have the power. Who you work for has the most power over your life, and whether you're free or not. We talked about that in the other video. um so damn it, I lost what I was gonna say.
I think it depends on how the power is delegated, because you know a lot of times, I've heard that said many times, but because a lot of times that's where you see it, you end up seeing it on the job level, where they're trying to put in processes or policies and things that you need to follow if you want to keep this job. But a lot of times, I mean, if the government and the corporate structures are the ones that if it's mostly starting from the corporate structure to get things working in government, um they're using the government to be able to use those powers against you. So it's a cycle that's, that a continuous cycle, but at the same time, you won't want to just say that the government don't have nothing to do with it, because they have a lot to do with a lot of the
Well,
things that's happening to you day to day.
well, they do, but it's minimal in comparison to your job. Your job tells you what time you have to get up, what time you can sleep, what I'm saying, what time you eat lunch.
Well, I mean, I guess to a certain extent. I mean, like I said, I mean, a lot of times the availability for the hours of, operation, most cases the day shift is going to get taken up first. If you coming in, yeah, you might have to work the second or third shift just to be able to get in and whatever, and you can work your way to the day shift or whatever. That's kind of a normal thing because of the way it's already set up. They already got this
But I mean,
section.
it's way deeper than that. They decide if you can go pick up your kids or not from school.
No, this
Like what I mean is
well,
like in the middle of the day. Not your job. You different. That's why you
no,
don't hear what I'm saying, Pat.
no.
You
I wasn't always a truck driver.
yeah.
I- I've worked in many different fields. Like, I mean, I worked in the car business. I worked in, like,
So
dude,
think
like,
about it. So think about it. You want to take a sick day. You can't take a sick day. This has a lot more impact.
I
You
don't
need to,
ask for, see,
when you go on
that's
vacation, when all of that shit.
look, that's one of the reasons that I knew I needed to own my own business. I need to run things, but at the same time, I never allowed somebody, like, I don't ask permission. I might ask for forgiveness, but I'm not asking permission. Because if I need to pick up my kid, I'm not, I'm probably just gonna go. If like already, oh no, I need you to do that. I don't have to. I don't want to hear that, because I'm going to get my son is not going to be left nowhere.
But you might
You
be
know,
in a job where you literally can't, like, let's say you're a bus driver. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it will be difficult. Some jobs, it's going to be difficult for you to leave to go pick up your kid in the middle of your shift, for a number of reasons. You just don't have. You're confined. You don't have the freedom to do it. You stuck in your whatever.
man, I'm gonna tell you, bro. You know, it might sound bad, but I'm gonna say if everybody else. Look, me and that bus about to go pull up at his school, or we going, like, I'm serious. I mean, that's who
But
my
guess what? You're fired now.
I'm fired now, and guess what? I'm not, you know, I'm not just a product for someone. I am equitable in many different places. I've always been, and like, me to worry, like, oh, this one job is my life. It has never been the case. Like, even with trucking, yes, I own my own business, but even me as a just a truck driver, I don't believe, like, I know that look, these people were stupid enough to let me go, blah blah blah, and look, here I go, I got this amount of experience, blah blah. I'm working somewhere else tomorrow.
Yeah, because see, look, that's when I realized. I think just like you got to have kind of like multiple revenue streams and have things going on where you don't have to completely depend on one, because you got to pay your rent. Like the rent man don't give a damn. So look, I used to work in a warehouse, and then like they did this streamline. They changed the way we did the system, and then they made it so efficient that we got all the work done, and then we didn't have no work to do. So then they sent us home on like Wednesday, talking about come back on Monday. I was getting paid good money. This wasn't a layoff. It was just, and I come back on Monday. And so, but that thing though put me really tight for the month on paying my bills, right?
Hmm.
I was like, you really just fucked me, man. Like horribly, really bad. And it's like absolutely nothing I could do about it. I felt so like weak
Well,
and
that
submissive.
negotiation thing has to pop right in, you know. Because for me, it's like, look, man, when I started this job, y'all told me I was gonna get X amount of hours. I mean, if y'all gonna pay me these minimum hours and I go home still, all right, I'm out of here. But other than that, I'm here on the clock so I can get the hours I need to pay my bills.
And
That's just
but see, a lot of those jobs are like that. A lot of them are like that. It fluctuates. Those warehouse jobs, they busy, slow down, busy, slow down, busy, slow down, and they'll give you overtime too. That's one thing that was really cool about the job. When we're busy, I get overtime. I stay later. The overtime pay is really good, and so when it's good, it's good. So that's how it goes. And then when it's bad, it's bad. So it's just like, though, that's like such like living like that was so stressful though, I mean, I gotta catch my breath thinking about it. So, but that's the reason why I realized that I can't do that no more. So the way I live my life now is not like that. I have multiple things going on, and so I don't rely on money from one source like that. One source don't work out, I got some other plans to be able to pay my bills. Plus, I manage my money better, and I keep my bills kind of like lower or whatever, manageable, more manageable, let's say.
yeah.
So but that still goes to what we were talking about, the conformity shit that people get stuck in. Damn it, I lost my fucking point.
Well, and I know that based on your bills, a lot of times that will make you conform to a certain extent. When a job can,
That's
stop you.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yes, because like you said earlier, you would just pull your bus up and go pick up your kid because you don't give a damn. And it's a lot of us out there like
That's
that.
that, that,
But
that
but
that's the only person that I have,
but
true.
but look, the people that are like that can't have no regular job because they're gonna get fired. They can't pay their rent now. Now they damn near homeless. They homeless. This is a real
And I know
fear.
that. But that's one of those things about knowing thyself. So that's a part of the whole, biblical thing. Know thyself. Don't put yourself in a situation that is gonna put you, to where, you have to give in to the whims of man. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a smart thing to do. And if you are in that position, you need to be finding a way to be out of it. You know what I'm saying? But however, it's just like, you know, if I'm willing to go against nature just because somebody else said so, or because, that's the best thing for somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just as bad as the system. Or like, I wouldn't feel like a man if I had to construct, like build my whole life around what somebody else built. It's just, I don't know. I mean, if I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm just not going to do it. So it really just,
But the
I don't,
system.
I don't really want to talk down like on
Yeah,
people
most
who have.
people not. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, and we're not trying to talk down on anybody, but what I'm saying is most people are not gonna like. They are more, conservative, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Safer.
That's not conservative. That's more of a liberal lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Conservative is I think more like myself, where, I understand that I don't want to be pushed around and, you know, going, having to change my life based on somebody else's all the time. So I put myself in a position to where I can have more control. I don't, if I decide I'm not going to work for a week or 2 weeks, a month, or whatever it's going to be, I can do so without it harming me. You know what I'm saying? That I
Well, what I mean by conservative in this context is like safer, right? Because a lot of people, and it might have to do with the programming, the system, the brainwashing. But a lot of people want to take what they consider the safe route of, just keep your head down and don't
be
don't
quiet.
fight. Yeah, and just do your job. Just get a job, do a regular job, go to work every day, and you're gonna be all right.
Do I
because that's
seem
what they
like the
want you
type
to
of
do.
person? Do I seem like the type of person that's ever been able to just shut the fuck up?
Because it's like, and this is what I wanted to stress too on this point. Because it's like, you know how the people always say, it's what you're supposed to do, or what you're not supposed to do. Because that's how they do it. That's how they put us in this conformity. Because it be, and like I say, it's your friends, your neighbors, your boss, your co-workers, your wife, everybody saying stuff like, you're not supposed to do that, or you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do this. You get what
I
I'm?
get. No,
Cause,
I mean I understand it
so
very well.
so what is there an instance in your life that you can share with the people where you feel like, that there was an example of that, suppose what you're not supposed to do, like you're not supposed to do that, like maybe it was something you was trying to do, like being opening your own business, because that's a good example. Because like I say, online, if you put I'm open my own business today, you're gonna get 2 likes. If you say I got the job at Apple, you're gonna get 2,000 likes. You know what I mean? You only got 200 friends. You're gonna get 2,000 likes on that post. You know what I mean?
Well, for me personally, I guess I don't know. I mean, because I guess it was more so with my family, being fearful for me. Like, because I mean, the whole idea of you starting your own business in the black community is a scary thing for the average person. It's like, well, like the whole idea. I mean, I've even heard other people give the story where you know, you tell them that you just got some job and you pretty much enlisted to some corporate entity. You're now a soldier or a slave for this company that they can dictate with your moves. Okay, you're gonna be here now. You're gonna be here five, till five, or or even if when it comes to this time of the month, we're doing this, so you don't have a life doing nothing else. Like people will congratulate that job instead of somebody who's actually starting a business where they've positioned themselves well enough to be able to do something on their own. It's kind of like they're scared for you that you're starting a business because whatever mindset they might have. So I mean, um, I don't I don't really have any, because I don't think I've ever conformed. Like I was always, not like a rebel where I'm out, just fighting wars and just going, but at the same time, it's like I didn't truly allow myself to be taken in. Like I've had jobs where people told me what to do. I've worked at restaurants in the dishwasher, doing whatever it is that I could do to get a job. I've had 3 jobs at a time, for different people. But in those moments I was there, that was the things that pushed me that let me know that this won't last long for me. I have to do something where I have the freedom to move and do things. So I don't know if I really have that story that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like my mom and all of basically my recent exes is like, just get a job, because my form of freedom right now in my life is part of it is going to school, because it's kind of like, like I say, like what I do is I wait tables on the weekends and I go to school during the week, and I have to write my papers or whatever and go to class and do what the teachers say. Maybe they want me to read a book or something. But for the rest of my time, I kind of get to do what I want. I fit, and I'm kind of used to that lifestyle. So I don't know. I just, like I say, my mom, all of them, they just tell me, I should just get a job. Why don't you just get a job? Just go work in a warehouse or something.
Well, and I think the problem with that, because I mean, of course, like we all have to do whatever it takes to take care of ourselves and our family. But when you're just doing what the system wants you to do and just kind of falling in place like everybody else, you're not the activist that you want to be or need to be in order to straighten things out. You're just you're feeding and giving the ability, the system a stronger, your work is actually strengthening that system even more. So
Exactly.
you kind of you have to kind of look outside of the norm at times. It's not always easy, but I don't think working for somebody is always easy either.
That's
You
what
know what
I
I'm
say.
saying? So I mean,
Because that bell, when I worked in the warehouse, you know how when you work in the warehouse, they have I call it a bell, but it's like a horn or whatever. It go, bah! So like the first bell in the morning is like, it's about time to go punch in. Bah! And then there's another bell. It's like you're late or whatever, because if you didn't punch in by this bell, you're late. And then later on in the day, so when you go to work, you do your job, right? And then as time goes on, the bell goes again. Bah! It's time for your first break. And they're really strict about breaks here, because you have to stop whatever you're doing, no matter what. If you're in the middle of something, you have to drop your tools and literally go to break, because they'll write you up for working through your break. Because at this job, you kind of like, you get caught up in what you're doing. A lot of times we have our own individual type of projects or whatever, and you kind of like, you're all into the groove, and you don't really want to take a break, but you have
yeah.
to. So breaks over. Next bell is lunchtime. Time to go to lunch, and then lunch is over. Punch back in. You get another break, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the day. So, but the thing about it was, every time the bell would ring, you'd have people moving like a herd. It's a herd of people moving like into the break room or going outside or whatever, and then the bell rings again and the people are coming back in. And I just felt like a damn cow. And it
I
really
was just about
fucking,
to say that sounds like cattle. You know,
and it really bothered me. It bothered me a lot. It bothered me a lot. It bothered me so much I complained to the big boss of the place. I was like, "Can you change the bell to like a some other kind of sound or something, like a happy sound or something?"
yeah. Well, you know what? I just thought about. I had a job when
Birds
I was.
chirping, something. Go
I
ahead.
had a. I had a job when I was like right out of high school, 18, 19, something like that. That I was working in a plant, and it was, I guess, similar to that, where you gotta be there. Like you practically got to be there at like 5:30 in the morning to be able to start work at 6. You're in there, they got the safety meeting, they got all this other,
Right. Right.
they
It's
got
always a
they got
meeting early in the morning. Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of times. Yeah.
You
You in
miss
trouble
it.
if you miss that
You
meeting.
get
Yeah.
chastised, and that right there. And then like it didn't even like a lot of like the people who actually, because I didn't even actually work for the plant, I worked for some contractor within the plant. So I'm not even making money worth me getting chastised that way. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I made good money doing that. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of liked it because it was physical, and I learned how to work a drill really
oh
good. I learned how to work a tape measure. I learned how to read blueprints.
yeah, dude, I was in A1 shape back then, bro.
Yeah, I was
I
lifting stuff, and it was really physical. That's what I liked about it. I was in really good shape at this time too. I did cardio kickboxing at the same time. Yep.
yeah, yeah, man. That was probably the plus of a plus about it, because me going to work out after work wasn't necessary, because I already went through a 12-hour shift of pretty much working out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You had your breaks in between. You pretty much working 2.5 or so hours, and then you get a 15-minute break, and then lunch is 30 minutes or however it is. But you get 3 or 4 different breaks throughout the day. Um, it was, but at the same time, I mean, because it didn't seem bad at the time. Afterwards, when you really kind of taking a calculation of the different jobs and stuff that you went through, it was like that shit wasn't really worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Man,
said,
people got hurt at this place I worked at. I don't know if I heard about anybody dying, but people got hurt there. It was a lot of fucking like heavy ass fucking like this shit was serious as fuck.
people were getting sick. There was a woman that worked there for a long time. She had cancer, and it was because she worked there, but she didn't wear she was there before the whole
Proper
safety,
PPE. Yeah.
OSHA, yeah, all
OSHA
that kind of stuff.
regulations. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had asbestos and stuff around there because the place was so old, and the products that we were actually packaging, because I worked in the packaging plant, that it would, that dust of the product, if you breathe it, can, make you sick, I'm sure over time. So it's like, the dust mask, all the different stuff that you have to wear.
So that's another part of it. I don't want to. If I hurt myself, then I want to hurt myself doing some shit I wanted to do, not some other niggas work. You know what I'm saying?
Jumping out of an airplane or some shit.
Yeah, if I fuck them, yeah, exactly. I don't know, skydiving or some shit.
Yeah,
some shit I chose to do.
Yeah. And then a lot of times the people don't find out about all that stuff until after the fact. And then, if there's a class action suit, even if you do get a nice big fat check, I mean, your health is,
fucked up. And I hate
yeah.
that system. I hate that suing. They like, oh, just sue them. I saw something where the guy worked for Tesla and he just got like 137 million. And it was because racist or whatever. So, but I mean, that's cool for that one guy.
I could deal with that.
That's cool for that one guy and his family, but it sucks for everybody else, So like nothing happens. So that's all that happens. This is the penalty, right? They obviously had fucked up to get this dude 137 million.
That's the part that I'm wondering. Like, I mean, damn, how
I don't know the story because they gave him a bunch of money, bro. That's crazy. So,
yeah,
look, how many other people are they? If they fucked off this dude so hardcore, they definitely fucking off other niggas. Them niggas didn't get shit. Think that's the only nigga they fucking off like that? If they paid this nigga 137 million, they picked this one nigga out of the whole crowd to fuck over.
Of course, it didn't happen that way, but at the same time, I mean, if they may not have that many in the first place. That's
probably
one part.
Yeah, probably not. But my point is, I don't like the system of the suing thing because that's gets to divert the corporation. That gives them an out. Because if they fuck up like that, like if somebody dies and shit, they need to fix whatever the fuck. And if it's like some racial shit like that, whatever the hell, they need to fucking fix whatever the fuck.
But that's how you fix people, big corporations like that is when you hit them in their pocket. They will come up with a difference. It's like, look, man, they go all the way down from the CEO to the management, whoever it is that's actually doing, like they're gonna.
I agree.
They don't get.
But that's not good enough. It's not good. That's not good enough motivation for them. The only motivation for it is to not get sued. These big, huge companies, some of these companies don't give a damn. Like the pharmaceutical companies, I'm sure they have a damn budget for that shit. They probably got money put to the side to cover all the damn suits. It's part of the damn in the damn not profit margin, whatever you call it, business model. But we know we're gonna get sued out the ass. Let's put this money right here to the side to cover all that shit. Fuck it. We're making big trillions of dollars over here. We don't give a damn about this billions that we're giving out to these people on these suits.
So this is pretty much just like, all right, look, managers, look, y'all can only use 5 niggas per week. You can use the word nigga 5 times a week because that's gonna cost us, 15,000 per nigga, and you know,
Yeah, if you go over that, then you're fired, or the money comes out of your pension.
yeah. See, now we're gonna get rid of you because you went over your nigga quota. You know what I'm saying? Like you went over the quota, and you know, now you gotta go.
So that's why I say that system is flawed. I mean, it does have impact. I agree with you on that because that's all they really be worried about. But that only hurts smaller companies. Like I say, if they're really big, they don't give a damn about that shit because they're making so much money. Okay, yeah, we'll pay a couple niggas, whatever. Like Tesla, that came from Tesla. Like you really think that 137 million? Them niggas shit that shit out. That ain't mean nothing to them.
Well, the end
Paper
up that,
clips.
it's probably gonna be a write off.
Paper clips, exactly. So that's my point. So the thing is, we need to have a different kind of system. Whether this is where the government should, comes in. You know what I mean? And a company gets in trouble for something like this, they do some shit like this, instead of it going through these, because that's what they do. They send it through the civil courts, right? This shit should be all criminal or whatever. You hold people accountable. The people who's in charge, who made the decisions for somebody to fucking die, these niggas always get off. They don't never get in trouble. They might get fired and then have to change their jobs. And usually they get a balloon, you know what I'm saying? They get their golden parachute and they're good anyways. They get paid to get fired. And they move on to another company and become an exec over there.
So
after they just wrote policies that cause people to die, like literally to die.
Well, I mean, I guess that means that you make what they would call a civil action criminal. Because I mean, in order for something more to happen than to be able to, put a fine on them or something like that, pay out a premium, pay out a lawsuit, then you would have to make it a criminal activity instead of.
They say corporations are people, so hold them people fucking accountable. Persons. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like I say, that's their out to be able to pay the lawsuit. I think no. A lot of these companies, these people should be criminally charged. Who made the policy or whatever, whoever fucking it, especially if they knew that the decisions that they made was causing people to die and shit like that. Like if it's egregious, they need to step in there and hold these people accountable. And that's what'll stop the companies, because then the companies is scared. If the feds come in and take the CEO to prison, he gonna be like, nigga, I ain't going to jail, bro. I'm fucking doing this shit legit.
But the reason why I think it's happening this way, because in most cases it's not the CEO that's actually making that those gestures, that's taking action. And if they might be saying nigga all day in the boardroom, but it's not.
But I'm not just talking about that on a racial thing. That was just I just threw that guy in there. I mean, when your system, your function, your functionality, your business model
allows this,
it is so predatory that it causes like death, like regularly and shit like that. Like you can look this up, and then they know about it. So that part has to be there too. I think that element needs to be there. So, but these companies do research like crazy. They know shit. They always keep a lot of information. They don't never, it only comes out through leaks. They be knowing what their products do and services do. And like I said, like the pharmaceutical companies, I'm sure people dying is a part of their damn business model, and getting sued is a part of their damn business model. So that, again, those people need to be held accountable. You need to go all the way to the top, because if you can't just charge some pharmaceutical reps because they gave out some pills to some doctors and the doctors prescribed it. No, you need to go to the head, because that's what's gonna discriminate people. You know what I mean? That's gonna cause people to not do it. That's gonna deterrent is what I'm looking for, the word.
Yeah,
deter them. They need a deterrent. They need to go to jail. That's the only deterrent that's going to work for them. They don't give a damn about the money like that.
like I
They're too
said,
rich.
it's a definite vicious cycle because, for one, because the corporations are in so many ways funding the government, uh, whether, via taxes or,
Exactly.
lobbying and, whatever
Exactly.
else, that you know, they're gonna find ways to allow them to keep doing business
Exactly.
and,
But this is the
give out.
problem.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be really hard to fix that problem when,
It's
you know,
embedded in our system. And so what the people say is take money out of politics. So make all of the people who run for office have to be publicly funded. They can't get no donations over a certain amount, like $250 or something like that, or $1,000 from one person. So then they have to fund their campaign from the people. And that's one of the ways that they were saying to try to combat against that, because you're absolutely right. One of the things I like people to try to understand is that the lobbyists, those senators, and those CFOs of particular companies are the same people, and they interchange in and out into Secretary of Defense, into CEO of Raytheon, into lobbyists for Raytheon. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Revolving as doors. So it's literally the same people. So, and then they're making money. So that, what they're talking about, Kristen Cinema right now, she's under a lot of heat because her and Joe Manchin, because they're saying that them two are holding up the reconciliation bill that they're trying to push through, right? These two are Democrats. They're considered conservative Democrats or whatever. And it's kind of like they're siding with the Republicans or whatever on this issue. Kristen Cinema, they followed her all in the bathroom. Did you see that? It was a viral clip. But anyways,
I didn't see
damn,
the clip, but I read something earlier about the cinema thing.
I forgot my fucking point. What did I say before I mentioned the Kristen Cinema? Oh, they're all the same people. Oh, the job. They're saying that Kristen Cinema don't even really want to be a senator no more, and she's just vying for a job right now. So her giving them a hard time on passing this infrastructure bill helps some kind of company or whatever, some corporation, and then after she leaves office, she's just gonna go get a cush job with them. Basically, a payoff for what she's doing now in Congress. They just give her an easy ass job where she gets paid a whole bunch of money to not really do hardly a damn thing. Cash in.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like one of my biggest things with us being able to truly solve the American problem. Like we have to start there. We have too many people that's locked into so many other systems based on the lobbying, people getting put in position, people putting money into the campaign to push this person forward so that they can be there to help make the policies or that will help these other corporations. So like the terms, that's that's one of my real core beliefs is that the terms have to be different. There have to be a cutoff point. Like senators can't be there for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Just it's
Yeah,
almost pretty much the
there's a
same way
lot of
that they do
stuff.
the
Cause,
same way
cause,
that they
cause
do presidents. Because I mean, just think
I
about. I mean,
agree.
if a
They be
president
in there
is
too
there for
long.
20 years, yeah, if a president is there for 20 years or 30 years, that's a dictatorship.
Exactly. And we
So
got the
that's
same
and the
senators that's
Senate
been in
actually
there since
and
before I started watching politics. It's all the same people. It only
yeah,
changed a little
and
bit.
they actually have more power than a president because they can have
Way more.
legislation changed in this week.
Because it's really supposed to be a balance, but the presidential powers have been growing. Uh and the governor, I mean the judges is the third part we forget about. And
This year, no, I mean,
it's
I
like
haven't.
they're all supposed to balance each other. But I don't know. I agree with the people talking about smaller government in certain ways because I do feel like a lot of that shit is getting out of control. the judges, the Congress, and the presidency, as far as power. Because I think the power has been growing in all three categories over the years. You know,
Yeah,
they've been
and
gaining more power to themselves, and
a lot of times people, especially in the Senate, in the House or whatever, they have a problem with the size of government based on what they're trying to take, what they're trying to get. Because if there's too many people voting against them, is man, government's too big. I mean, because I'm more for smaller government, for the most part, because I mean, a lot of these people, if we have just enough people that's gonna represent, our the states, people that's gonna give a voice for each state, but then we have, two or three or whatever in some states that's able to overpower others. So it's kind of like there has to be balance no matter what size the state is. You have a voice for, I don't know. I mean, something's got to be figured out, because I'm not going to say that I have, an ironclad, solution that's going to fix every little thing. But when it really boils down to it, there's a problem with bigger government at times and smaller government because of what it is that they're actually trying to get done. Some people don't believe in the shit that you're trying to push, and too many votes against it or whatever, or
well,
vice
I think
versa.
we got to look at the fundamentals though, because I think another part that people miss is that the government is structured in a way just like the corporate structure, because right, just like the corporate capitalist structure that we have, because the president and CEO, the president of the United States, you know what I'm saying, chief financial officer, secretary of finance or whatever. So it's very very similar. And when you was talking about smaller government, then like uh, the thing is though, the government should be more of the people, like you say. So, but you see that in America, in the United States, we have one of the smallest percentage of people who vote with out of the population, right? It's like 20%, I think. It might be less than that of people who are eligible to vote who actually vote in the elections.
I think
It's
I think it was at a 50% margin on the last presidential anyway.
I
But yeah, it's probably a lot smaller when it gets down to county and um, statewide stuff, because like I mean, that's just like a lot of times I don't get to vote in the state a lot of times because they hold it on Tuesday, and
But
I
that's
mean
my point. Is the
it's
system is
set
not
up.
set up for all of they don't want they want only they've even since the beginning of the conception, they only plan for a certain percentage of people to actually be politically active. Like, landowning white men for the most part. But as it has evolved, it's still like people who are more have more class, because that's one of the things that people feel like that makes them classy is that they vote regularly or whatever. One of those things that they can say, I'm better than you, I'm more of a citizen, I'm more of an active citizen because I send emails to I know who my congressman is, and I send emails, I send letters to my congressman about whatever.
Well, and that's the thing. The involvement, of course, would be good, better if more people were involved in it. But I mean, just think about just the average everyday person who's working at Walmart, or just well any gig that won't allow you to leave work. If
On
you
a
happen to,
In the
yeah,
middle of
on
a Tuesday.
yeah. So
And
it's
that's just
like,
what I was saying about the government, your job having more power over your life. There goes another example than the government. And so, but also the system is set up for it to be like, we don't want these regular 9 to 5 niggas that gotta work all day to come vote any damn ways. It's supposed to be for people who can just take a
but
vote day.
But that's one of the reasons, because see, that's the thing. If they wanted more people to vote, those same corporate entities would be finding a way. Like, all right, well, this part of the shift can go between this hours and this hours. Like they will make
They can work it
accommodations
out. Yeah.
if they, if
If
they
they wanted
really
to.
wanted to. Yeah, that's the whole point. And you know based on them knowing that the average everyday person probably, if they knew, what they was
In other
voting for,
countries, they
and
do that. They shut down everything when it's vote. Everything is closed, so everybody can go vote.
yeah, it's too much corruption, man, and you won't really see it unless you know give a shit. Some people complain, and all what talk about where all the things are wrong or where it's bad, but um or what they don't like about it. But you just have to really be more active. And like I said, I really wish that they had something set up where we could actually vote on our computer, where
That's what I
there's a
was
way.
saying. Like an app. I've been saying, I was screaming that shit. And everybody I mentioned it to, they're like, nah, man, I don't feel safe with that. And then I ask them, hey, but don't you have a Chase app on your phone? Don't you do your banking on your phone? Like you're okay with doing that through an app? And it's like, so that's safe though. So, but you're comfortable with that, but you're not comfortable with people being able to vote on their phone. I feel like you can make it as secure as possible, because going through like those government websites, whenever you log onto them government websites, they send you through all kinds of changes and shit to verify your damn identity to be able to do anything on the damn website. So they have ways. And then with these damn phones and these damn computers we have now, they could probably come in and take your picture or do like a live video or something to make sure it's you while you're voting. You know what I mean? There's you can make that super secure, but people don't want that. Why aren't nobody making up an app? There should be somebody coming up with an app for that right now. Damn, you froze up, bro. You froze. I gotta take a potty break.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. A mic check. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. It's time to check the mic and best the bet. I'm about to wreck it to the leather. Jealous people hate but don't debate. Just check my measures. Electric by design. I even shine in stormy weather. Attempt to meddle and tether this mental treasure, and you find yourself embedded in the chasm in the desert. Thirsting for hydration, no libation, empty kettle. Take it to another level, add the bullet and the shovel. Got you on the bubble, double trouble. See you stumbled, and this about to get repugnant like a kitten in the rumble. Quick to fluff and tumble, best be humble when we come through, cause I have you stiffing under, mama wonder where you went to.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. What you gon' do? It's the KCE crew. We making you look like Fu Manchu. Proper grasshopper who with the kung fu. Cut and slice nice like Benny Hanna do. Take quick bites like the tip of a piranha tooth. Go ahead and steal my mic, watch it blow up right in front of you. We coming to give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Who do you think you are? You ain't gonna get real far. Driving your shifty car, following Diddy farts. I'ma be a Twitter star. I'ma be a Twitter star. Keep dreaming about how big you are, cause we about to pick apart everything that's in your heart. Control and leave you torn to shards. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. Selling junk like San Francisco. Wax on, wax off Daniel, son. Selling junk like San Francisco.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. I'm tripping cause my mind's gone from always seeing tragedies. Can't close my eyes cause it's around me, I just call it reality. Can't paint no perfect picture like an artist they can't sell. Is what they try to instill in me, but my...
Whew. Had to take a potty break. My bad. You there? Damn, I think you froze up again. Froze. My freaking back hurt too. And I want to give a disclaimer to everybody that's watching and listening and watch this back. When I be saying potty, it's like whenever you have little kids, whenever you have had kids, it's like some parts of your language change. And I think it changes forever too, because it's like I say words like potty and poop because when you have a little kid and you have to talk to them, right? And that's how you use those words. And then it's like forever I don't know. For me, I still say potty and poop.
Well,
Pee pee in the potty.
I guess it just depends on my mood.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The word is in your Rolodex now. It's there, and it might come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, but what were we? What? Because you was in the middle. We was in the middle of saying something.
I don't remember. We was
Where
talking
did we
about the
leave?
government and the
Oh
corporate
yeah.
structure of the government, like, and then the money in politics, and then like the class structure of it
The
all.
voting, the app.
Yeah,
That's what we was talking. Your app that you was thinking about, because I
right,
think now with you know, the world being mostly digitized, I think that it might be more trackable. You know, like it might be
right.
something that could actually be more, you know,
More
reliable.
efficient. Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, you think about, I mean, there's IP addresses on phones, so
exactly.
you know, there's a way to really be able to really track back if they need to, instead, like, because that whole mail-in ballot stuff,
And
like, I
then
think
the
that,
timing,
I,
because look how fucked up it was when we don't know who's the president, because like you say, the mail-in bank ballots, they haven't received them. Now they got to count them, and it take days and weeks or whatever the hell. If it was digital, boom, we should know right away, right? Election night, we know who won. We don't have to
yeah,
wait.
and then it can actually have a whole, like, all this, like, we could actually follow it through the app. Like, I really think that
As it
that would be
goes.
something.
And then
Yeah,
everybody could just watch it, and then they'll know, like, everybody will know at the same time.
yeah.
But it's a whole industry around that too, though, right? The news industry related to politics and the elections, that's big ratings for them. So that's the only time some people tune in to their shows. So, right, the media would they would lose money. This app will cost the media money. And they are another leg of the government, if you will. That's the fourth leg right there.
Well, well, I, you know, honestly, I believe there's a certain, you know, part of or percentage of the government that does not want it to totally be fair. Like they want to be able to manipulate
Right,
numbers when they can.
right.
And you know, I mean,
Because the people think that it don't be cheating, because the United States always like to look at other countries and say, oh, they're not legitimate elections. You can argue that the United States have had some elections in the past that may or may not have been completely legitimate.
what?
Yes, there's
You
truth.
you
There's
don't say. You don't say.
so who's
And I think it's probably even before, like, I mean, before that, like, because the first one that, you know, I know
Gore, Bush Gore. Damn, I wrote that up. Froze up. Internet woes. I don't ever know when I froze. I'll be needing people to tell me. Damn, what was he saying? He was saying, what was he saying? We was talking about the government.
you can't hear me.
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not really sure. Like I'm on my laptop and using my hotspot, so I
Yeah. It's probably the hotspot. Go ahead. What was
yeah.
you saying?
Well, you know, the of course the Bush and Gore was the first
Yeah.
one that I know about, and it's
Yeah.
probably happened even before that, because I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of hard for me, like, based on history, knowing that, like, the whole voting process, the whole idea of the voting was pretty much to make people feel like they were more involved when they were already chosen. Because I mean, even from the beginning, I mean, you really think about the first presidents of the United States were not voted for; they were appointed. So
Yeah, George Washington didn't even want to be president. They basically forced him.
it was supposed to be Benjamin Franklin. That was supposed to be the first president, but somebody at the high, the person who appointed George Washington didn't really like that whole idea. But even all the way up to when Abraham Lincoln, they you know Benjamin Franklin was trying to be the president. So him ending up on $100 bill, not really sure, because he never was a president. But it's just weird that with his involvement, because he always had involvement from the time that from the what was 1789 when
I have to look back at that because I forget about him and I get their names mixed up because they didn't make me read so many fucking books about these fucking motherfuckers. But I think he was just like a wealthy landowner, right? Wasn't his name on the fucking Constitution?
um
Is he one of the ones who
the Bill
signed
of
the
Rights.
damn Bill of Rights?
Uh, I
Yeah,
don't, I don't, I don't. Yeah, like
yeah,
you talking about the
I'm not sure.
forefathers. I forget myself. But one thing that I do know is that after the bankruptcy of America, when Lincoln forced a bankruptcy because of all of the things that they were trying to do, stealing land and trying to do the actual takeover. Um, Benjamin Franklin was the person who filed for the for them to be a corporate entity. Like it went away from being a true government, and uh, Benjamin Franklin is the one who filed for the first um, you know what you call it, like pretty much trying to become a business over in France. Like he went in France and applied for this to be a business to operate here in America as like a private entity that ended up running the government because it was falsely taken. Like there was the coup d'etat and all that stuff that happened. Like it's a lot of historical stuff that happened there that I don't really want to mess up because we got people
Who really know the shit probably. That's why I like to be careful too and try
yeah.
not to say
But
unless I'm 100%.
somebody
Yeah.
be cussing me out, be like, man, he fucked all that up. No, this was that. But however, I don't mean any disrespect because I mean I'm just really trying to give a little bit of insight to some of the things we're talking about. But however, a lot of it was not. There wasn't any voting going on, especially on the federal level. It was all people being appointed.
Land owning white men, and a lot of them were land prospectors and stuff like that because that's what it was. All the politicians were landowners and they were land prospectors. They were people who were gaining more land, buying land and owning land, and that's what it was all about. Yeah,
Stealing land.
basically that's what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a land prospect, what is a land prospector anyways? Like it's like you go out there and just be like, oh yeah, it's got hills and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, now this mine. Or really what they did was they would chop it up and sell it. So kind of like this, it's the same system that they started that system back then that we do today, the way we do land. how like independent contractor, right? He'll buy acres or whatever, and then he'll chop it up into lots and sell the lots. Basically,
Mhm.
that's how it works. So that system came up. They came up with that system way back then.
Well, I think even before that, because they were constructing ways to be able to, because you can't really own, like I guess, like, there's a way to be able to transfer and move, ownership, if you want to call it ownership, uh, from person to person. But the main thing was that the people who own the land would have never really ever
They didn't
sold.
sell
So
it. No, it was the Indians and people living there, and they would just come and clear.
the
They
indi-
would clear. They would clear the land,
the indigenous
and
people,
they would clear
whatever
the land.
whatever group of people you want to call that,
Right,
but
clear the land,
it
and then yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I would say, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be just even clearing it, because I mean, there's people could have been on the land at the time,
And they sold it,
whether it's
talking
a
about this shit
plantation.
mine. Yeah,
Yeah, we're creating new tax,
and
the
then
whole tax laws that came
and and,
about.
and then start telling the indigenous people you trespassing. Because the other thing they have about this, what they came up with, is what they call improvements to the land, right? Improvements is when they put a building on it or whatever, and they're saying that the land isn't being utilized if it doesn't have like some kind of improvement to it. And that's one of the things that they didn't understand about the indigenous people. They didn't like to have those kind of structures so much because they didn't like to impede upon the land. They wanted it to be natural.
That's the
So
thing.
they would
That's
have
a part of
structures
how we
that,
became savage, because we're angry that people are coming in and trying to you know do things to the land that they felt was sacred, to like this was, because it was
and they
mostly
didn't
a farming.
understand. Yeah, they didn't understand that land owning shit. Like you were saying, and the white people coming and they talking about, oh yeah, we own these plots and stuff. And then the Indians are like, man, we've been hunting here for 2,000 years, bro. Like we come through here in the fall. You know what I'm saying? This is, we've been doing this every year for 2,000 years, bro. Y'all got these.
Yeah.
One of the worst things they did was the fences, the barbed wire. That was a big part of how America expanded in the early days, because like I say, they make these plots, and I was talking about in the other video how you don't know where borders are. A lot of times we don't know, people don't know where if there wasn't a wall on the Mexican Texas border, nobody would know where the hell the fucking border is at. These borders are fucking illusions. And a lot of
Hmm.
times when you own farms, right? I was talking about that. When you own acres, you have to put up these fences at the end of your property line, because that's how you know where the end of your property line is. Because otherwise you wouldn't
Exactly.
know. You walk out there and you just see fucking dirt. So where mine ends and the other guys start, I don't fucking know. So what they did was they put up these damn barbed wire fucking fences, bro. And
Hmm.
it was so horrible for the movement of, we had like the Serengeti type of great migration here in the United States, in the North American area, before they put up these barbed wire fences. It was more. It wasn't just buffalo, because that's what people don't understand. You never see a herd of animals where it's just that one herd. It's the buffalo was the main big body of the herd, but you had all different kinds of animals that used the protection of the buffalo and moved with them because they were safer that way. You see it in Africa today. It
Hmm.
wasn't just buffalo. These
Yeah.
damn barbed wire fences broke their migrations, and it broke their ability to move and graze freely like they were before.
Yeah, I think my family on my dad's side lost quite a few acres because of a fencing issue. Um, so this is stuff that's happening within the parish that we're from, and somebody, and there's also a law that, if you've been taking care of a certain amount of property for so long, that it becomes yours. So, I think we might have lost about 9, 10 acres or so based on that whole fencing issue. But I mean, there's still, I think, about 60, 70 acres still. But either way, because of that whole fencing thing, because I mean, regardless, I mean, without those laws in place, we should be able to still say, well, because of these coordinates, this is a part of my land, and just go ahead and make a fence now that
It's shady as hell. I just took that real estate class. There's a word for this. It's occlusion. I can't remember the term, but it has to do with the habitation of the land. Once, and they have all this shit, intimate domain, and they have this shit creating a fucking damn. I can't even think, bro. Fucking. But anyways, they it's because it has to do with you habitating it.
what about the squatters' rights?
And utilizing it. That's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing. The one that utilized it, you know what I'm saying, over a certain period of time, impeded. It's like they haven't been impeded to it. So nobody came and said, hey, this is not your property, this is my shit. Nobody ever came and said that over a certain period of time. Then they get some, that's what it is, some whatever the hell you call it. There's a word for it. And it's all shady. Sure real estate shit is all shady. It budded from, one of the things they taught us, it all goes back to the sovereignty of the land. And guess who's the original owner of the land? The original owner of the land, guess who's the original? Like anything happens when they look for deeds and they take the deed as far back as it goes, the original owner is always the U.S. government. And it don't go before that. It's the U.S. government is the original owner that's the original owner. So if you bought Nate,
so who's the original owner of the U.S. government?
Right. So, but if you bought undeveloped land, random ass land, you may end up be buying it from the government. That's who you would pay. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, well, I think over time it has come to that, because even before what we know as the United States, that's been residing here, there was governments before then. So, how did that transfer happen from one government to another through a takeover? It was stolen.
And this is the law. It may be like the language may be slightly different from state to state, but it's the same across the nation. But that's why I say the whole thing, that's what people got to understand, that this country was born off of this whole real estate thing, like the way they do it, the prospecting, and the way they do the grids and the mortgages.
But that's an interesting thing to me too, is that like we have these state lines that all each state, and how was that determined? Like, who was able to say, okay, well, this along this line and this line, I mean, especially when we talk about Texas, as huge as it is, and there's how many states around it? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 4 or 5 states that actually touch Texas, and like, how does that even?
How does that even happen? Like, it definitely doesn't look natural. And there's some straight ass lines around Texas. Like, you can see where they were just like, fuck it. At the top of Texas.
Yeah, the Panhandle or whatever up there. Like, because I mean, of course, across the ocean line, along the Gulf, yeah, that's easy. But with Mexico and
it's
New
all
Mexico,
it's really retarded. I studied some stuff about like ethnicities and like the areas that they take up. And if you look across the world, you can see where it would be real nations and how they would shape up. But, you know, almost all of these borders came from, you know, colonization, basically, you know. You know, you look at Africa, all those countries, the shapes of them was because of the, you know, the different countries, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British, you know, the French chopping it up.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But
And it had nothing to do with, they were so ignorant. They don't understand. That's the reason why you have problems to this day about like, because the ethnicities don't give a fuck about those borders. Even to this day, it's really evident in Africa. You can see how the people, they kind of span over from one country to another. And but these people all identify as a, you know, as an ethnic group. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And it causes problems with politics and migrations and stuff like that. But they was looking at it. You could change it. You could change the shape of some of those countries, and it would you would have a lot less drama, basically, if that makes any damn sense.
well, yeah. I mean, I think the two places that I think is more, you know, speaks a lot of volume through recent history is the whole Palestine and Israel. You know, of course, Israel is a new designation for that place, the area, since the 1950s or 48 or whatever, late 40s, early 50s, and like even up to now, like it started off, you know, with a certain jurisdiction. Now they're fighting because of those borders, because somebody's trying to encroach on new land and it to be identified as a part of Israel. So it's like, okay, they're stealing and fighting over something that should have been settled a long time ago. If you cross this damn line, all right, now you're just here now. You're in Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Like we already like we should have, you know, Palestine should have had all of that area pretty
All
much.
of it.
Yeah.
All of
But
it. There's certain people, there's some Palestine people that they're gonna fight for that to the end because they're gonna say this is all our shit. So y'all
yeah.
can live here because y'all have come here, but this is our shit. See, Israel wants it all to be theirs and be like, y'all can
Because
live
of
here, but this is our shit. So that's the problem. And you know, I'm glad you brought that example up because Israel is the perfect example of, you know, Israel is a baby United States. The Palestinians are the Native Americans. There's no difference. It's exactly the same. Settler colonialism, where they just go in and decide that, hey, this is my land or whatever, like I say, and develop it. But, you know, it's
but I'm assuming that it would come down to like funding and, you know, taxes or whatever that, you know, they're
let me
trying
tell
to get.
you one of the ways they do it. People who are around the world, if you have a grandparent that was Jewish, you could prove that your grandparent was Jewish and you want to come to Israel. They'll pay you and they'll put you in a house and set you up. And they're giving you money every month too for this. They're paying you to do this. It's like the return to Israel or whatever. So, and just so happened that house that they're moving you in is right in the middle of, you know, let's say
Well,
Palestine, somebody's else's freaking house or neighborhood it previously before they built this brand new house and had pulled you in because they need the people because that's how they get. It's kind of like what we said about the squatters' rights because after a while that's the argument every time. These people, they've been here for the longest, we got to do something about that. They've been there since 19 whatever. These are Israel's settlements in the middle of Palestine, And it's like, we have to, what are we going to do about those people or whatever? You know what I'm saying? But that's their strategy, because it happens over time. More and more and more and more, they keep building these settlements in the middle of Palestine. Palestine disappears a little bit at a time, a house, a neighborhood at a time. Just like the United
Yeah,
States
a
became the United
subdivision.
States. Because you look at the maps drive me crazy when I look at the early United States. I can look at those maps over and over. There's so many maps that you can look at that show the
Hmm.
progression, the growth of the United States. What they say, from sea to shining sea. And they fucking did that shit. How they pulled it off is fucking crazy when you go look back at history. Because the United States, the shape of it now today, it didn't have to be this shape. It totally could have been something else. And really, it should have never made it all the way to California. That's so crazy. It's so crazy that the United States made it all the way to California. So, but you
Well,
watch the map,
because of the union.
you watch the map just grow and grow. The United States, because it wasn't United States, it was Indian country, Indian land. And then you had the little United States on the East Coast, little United States, and then big ass
But
Indian
but
country.
but at some point, what part of the land wasn't Indian country, if you want to use that term? What part was not? So I mean, because I mean the 13 colonies were supposed to be all set aside, all on the eastern seaboard, which
Right.
which, which allows them to be able to you
Move
know
trade.
yeah,
Yeah.
have some form of trade or whatever.
And
But somehow, they've made deals with everybody else, because like I said, I mean, even after Napoleon lost the war and he had to sell up most of Louisiana Purchase, they came into different. Who was he selling those states to? Like, I mean, that's the part that I don't,
and did he really own that shit? It was conquered, that, like, and then it was the Indians was there like, it's just like what we said. It's kind of just like what we said. They're like, we own this shit, and the Indians are living there like, what? Like that whole
own. What the hell you mean? Oh, yeah.
even in the Louisiana Purchase, because that's the reason why they had to get rid of the Louisiana, was because they didn't have enough French people over here to be able to occupy it, to solidify the rights to the area. They couldn't, you know what I'm saying? That was the issue.
What they
And
actually sold it to the United States, right?
right, because they had the from the previous wars and shit that they did the lines that they made. It was right. It's at Mississippi River, ain't it? Ain't it the Mississippi River? Ain't that the
For
border?
what for Louisiana?
Yeah, I think it was the Mississippi River all the way up to Canada and into Canada. And
Well, because I mean it runs through Louisiana. I mean, because Louisiana is on both sides of the river.
but that's what I think it was, though, the Mississippi
Except,
River,
yeah,
because
except it does veer over into Mississippi after.
that's the Delta. Louisiana today is like the Delta. So that's where the river, spreads out and becomes all that shit. So, the river, that's the Louisiana is the whole damn river, the mouth of the river. That's really what it is.
Pretty
And
much.
so, but like I say, I think that was the line. So, but the thing is, like I say, Indians was there. That was the whole issue. The Native Americans was there, and the French didn't have people there. They only had a few people, small settlements, not enough to, lay for that whole damn territory that they had, or supposedly had. So after the war, they was like, we can't defend this area or whatever. It's too much. It's more trouble than it's worth for them at that point. After the Haitians kicked their ass, so they sold it to the United States. So that's how it worked. And then the United States basically doubled or tripled in size.
The United States?
Yeah, the United States. At that point, it doubled in size. And it still didn't have the other side of what? Is that the Appalachian Mountains, Rocky Mountains, whatever mountain range that is on that side. and because it was still in what they call engine. I'm saying that because that's the term that they use when they be talking about this, like engine, because it's like a it's also because that's how the this is the United States. This is the corporation of the United States. You know about like how they name all the missiles Tomahawk and you notice the airplanes are named after Lakota or whatever the hell they use Native American terms for the missiles and the airplanes and the helicopters and shit like that. That there's a reason for that. So, but man,
Well,
I think
because it's supposed to be still defending the land as if it is what it always was, but because of the structure, the corporate structure, because the corporate structure didn't come in until the 1800s. The true corporate interest didn't come in until the early 1800s or mid 1800s. So it's like all the stuff is kind of a facade, just like just like these barriers, these lines, state lines or county lines. Because I mean, the county lines were really like the cities before the cities came about. Because them changing, yeah, they had towns within a county, but that's just like the cities became cities because of the new structure. Like them being able to name, put their name on certain things, somewhat gave them whatever kind of ownership. But when you really think about it, I mean, there was deals that was being made with foreign entities the whole time. So that's how the Louisiana Purchase was even, Louisiana period that went all the way up into Canada existed because Napoleon being from France, he's making deals, they, whatever at least had the power over what happened in those territories. So it's like they're constructing certain ideas in order to say, okay, they're whatever, they're able to control the revenue that's made within these different districts. And that's pretty much what all that was about because
because a lot of that was fur trapping up in there. We basically eradicated the damn whatever that animal was, red fox or whatever. We almost made it extinct. When I say we, you know what I mean.
Well, yeah.
I don't really mean we because we kept a balance in nature. That's the reason why they came over here and found all them damn. They was like, oh my God, they never seen so many. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they was killing them left and right for years and years and years and years. It took them like a whole bunch of years to get it down to the point where they almost made them extinct.
And that's the thing. I mean, even, when the, indigenous people, that's what I would like to say instead of calling them Indians. Because I mean, the original word for Indian was indigo, the dark people, whatever. But however, they started going, when they realized that this was a market, it's like, oh hell, shit, I get these all the time. They, shit, get the meat and this, that, and the other. But I don't think it became that excessive. Because I mean, even with the snake, getting snake skins to make belts, or like this is something that has always been done.
But at that time, because you was talking about the Louisiana Purchase, and because that was their the economic value of Louisiana at the time was the fur trapping mostly, and so the French was that's their territory, like I say, and then they're over there fur trapping and selling this shit. So they're making it's an industry, right?
Yeah.
So but meanwhile, the Native Americans are there, moving around and doing the things that they have been doing for thousands of years, unaware that the French is saying that this is their land or whatever they fucking have, or whatever. And so, but that's what I think people really have to understand is how the real estate, land ownership is the basis of the United States.
All this
the
stuff
way
is
it was
still
built.
happening right now today. All of it is still happening right now today. It's nothing that there's really no real change other than the fact that how we see it. you know,
How it's
the
branded,
yeah, the
how the
same
media
people.
spins it.
Yeah, I mean the same people that's always been here. A lot of them, you know, whether the fishermen, you know, like I mean, you just got to think all the different, you know, industries that's going on. Of course, like the oil and gas stuff came at one time. I think, you know, I guess that was in the 1800s as well, the later 1800s when they actually, you know, found out about, you know, what I think it was what Galveston or Houston or somewhere where they, you know, discovered the oil thing, and that's when that became a big deal. But
It's how they
also then,
romanticize everything. Remember that movie with the white boy, what the hell was his name? Something Wolf. What was the hell the name of this movie? But it was romanticizing the time when we're talking about the right after Louisiana Purchase, and when it was like Kansas, when they made those two states, and it was like it was the race. The people had wagons, and they just like they had a certain date, and then when it started, everybody could run, and whoever got to the first place, they planted their
oh,
flag or whatever.
you talking about the gold rush.
It wasn't a gold rush. It was a land rush, basically, because they didn't cost nothing. They gave all this land for free. They had this day where starting at a certain time and everybody go. It's like boom, they shoot the guns, and then it's like a race, and then the first person to wherever you get to stake this land as yours, and build a house there or whatever.
Yeah, I
Uh,
kind of remember a story like that. I
it
don't
was in
know.
that movie. Fuck, I want to say Saving
It's a
Private Ryan,
western.
but it's. I
It
guess you
must have
could
been a
call it a.
western.
I guess you could call it a western, but one part of it was important was a lot of the they would de facto into the Native Americans. They would end up moving in with them, like, let's say, becoming Native American, right? And this happened so much that they would get fined and go to jail. It was against the law for them to do this. And in this movie, I cannot think of the name of it. That's what happened to him in the movie. He became one of them. He became the tribe. One of the tribes took him in, and he became one of them. And this was during that time where they was, because like I say, the Native Americans was already there doing what they do at this time when they just randomly told all these white folks that you could just come and plant your flag and build a house right here. So, but the way they did life was harsh, right? So like a lot of them, the life was better with the natives, and the natives, some of them were friendly, and would take them in. It
Yeah.
it yeah, it happened a lot in the Civil War. That's what's crazy. A lot of people don't realize it was a lot of they were fighting the Native Americans for so long. Like that's the biggest, longest part of United States history. You know what I'm saying? The Indian Wars, if you will. You know, expanding from the little 13 colonies all the way to sea to Signing Sea, somehow making it to California in the sacred hills.
Well, of course, a lot of it ended up being, you know, somewhat negotiated because, just tired of warring. I mean, that's how supposedly the Christian Muslim wars ended, especially when it got here to America, because that whole peace and was it Treaty of Peace and Friendship, um, the Articles of Tripoli, or whatever however you see it, but it's they have been warned for forever, like.
And they were so shady the way they did stuff. And diseases of antiquity is one of my classes, and we were talking about smallpox, and we was talking about how they eventually created like a vaccine for smallpox, and how it was a slave that they took from Africa, supposedly or whatever, right? Ended up in Boston, given to somebody as a gift. And this guy was a doctor, white guy, of course, right? And so what
The
he
slave,
no, the slave wasn't a doctor. The doctor is the one
the person
who purchased him,
received it. Okay,
received him as a gift.
yeah.
So the guy was asking him about, he asked him if he had smallpox, and he said he did, but he didn't. And he was like, "What does that mean?" And then so it was like they already knew in Africa at this time that you could. They had a inclination. I think I can't think of the word of it. They cut your arm open, and then they put a little bit of the pus from someone who had smallpox, and put it on the arm. 2% of people who did that died. But if you didn't die, you would be immune to smallpox for the rest of your life. You have lifelong immunity. And smallpox was a major ass thing that killed a lot of people, right? So the thing is, the science is crazy about that, because the racism was keeping them from that. Even in class, they didn't want to give the black guy credit, or Africans credit for coming up with this, really, because they improved the process, and made it better, because they realized that there was a cowpox. It was like in the same family, and they used the pus from that to make their vaccination, and that one was safer because the cowpox wasn't never lethal. It didn't really kill people. It would just make them sick or whatever. Get them damn
But
postulates that would grow on you.
but if
So, but
but if
wait. I wanted to get to the
but,
point. I kind of got off track, but because the Native Americans. So, and I thought about this in class, and I didn't want to bring it. I mean, I didn't want to bring. I thought about. I wanted to say it. I ain't gonna lie, but it probably wouldn't have been a good thing to do, so I didn't. So the thing is, we know that they used smallpox as a weapon against the Native Americans when they came over here. That was one of the ways that, like, what got me on this is when you were saying that they was fighting for so long, and I was saying, like, yeah, and they was being so fucking shady. So George Washington, he inoculated all of his troops. And see, what's crazy about it is that even in Europe, like at this time, they was against doing this because they felt like it was African technology. You know what I'm saying? So it can't be trusted. But George Washington knew about this, and he did all his troops. He inoculated them with this. So, and they said that in class. And then I was thinking about this, and I was like, okay, so then we also know that they used blankets and shit that they gave to the Native Americans to give them smallpox purposely. We know this, right? So when I thought about that, because historically, before, I was like, how did they give infected smallpox blankets to the Native Americans? This is like some damn bio warfare. But how did they do that without safely, right? Because you know how they are. They always worried about themselves. So, like, how would they do that without worried about catching smallpox themselves? If they already had inoculated all them niggas, all the military folks that was fighting against the Indians, then that would make sense. They're not worried about them catching smallpox from the blankets because they already have the vaccination for it. And then they just go and give the damn blankets to the damn Native Americans.
well, I think that because of it already existing in Europe, a lot of them probably made it through that whole thing. A lot of the sickness that came with some of these Europeans that came over, the Native Americans, whatever we're gonna call them, the indigenous people that was already here, um, they they hadn't been, their bodies weren't used to a lot of the things, those foreign things that they had already maybe experienced in Europe. So the
Yeah,
smallpox.
it wasn't just smallpox, but that was the one that fucking it was decimating, man. It killed a lot. It killed, and it's focused on kids. And they had the natives had no
But in the
immunity.
middle of war,
Hmm?
war, and in the middle of war, all the times that's you're not prepared to gather the different things that you can use to build your ability. You're kind of on defense where if they could in situations they probably could have the right thing to say that would strengthen their identity and fight a lot of this stuff off. But if you're warring, you're going through all these different things, being moved from your your natural surroundings, your normal surroundings, you may not know where to find those things. So that's something that I would definitely have take into account why they wouldn't get past it, because like I said, I mean, they're being moved around just through trying to protect themselves from people that they didn't know they needed to be protected from, because like I said, a lot of times they allow people come in peacefully, like without any they welcome too many people in.
It was too
And
nice.
yeah, so
Too fucking nice. Because look, you look up and all the kids in the tribe is dead. And then half the adults is dead. What do you do? How you gonna fight? You can't fight.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's the stronger ones that they end up killing off, the warriors that end up within the battles. So it's like, who's left? The women and children, and the who's just kind of like, all right, they need to be able to protect who's left. You know what I'm saying? So at some point they kind of
And
retreat or just trying to find a, it's because I mean a lot of
the government paid. They be talking about in the movies. They always be showing the Indians scalping the white folks, but the government paid for vigilantes or whoever, regular people, to for scalps. They would pay, and it paid them handsomely for native scalps.
Well, I think that for native scouts, wait,
Yeah.
you're saying that they paid other Indians, paid other indigenous
No,
to
the
bring
government paid white folks, or it wasn't always white folks, but whoever was willing to kill an Indian, scalp him, and bring it to the people. You had to bring it, and they would give you money for it.
Well, I think because I think that's not necessarily how a lot, because I mean this movies are because a lot of what we don't realize is that when a lot of this stuff began, a lot of the Indians, because they knew the territory, they knew how to get around this, that, and the other. The Europeans who was here, they had their own slaves, whether they were white. Most likely, the slaves were white that they had during that time. And if they started trying to run away or whatever, they would pay the people who knew the land to go be able to find them. If they find them, sometimes they want them back alive. Sometimes it's just like show proof that you know they are dead. And that was one of the easier ways. Either they took the whole head or they would scalp them, to show proof so they can get paid for
Right.
taking care of that. Yeah. So
Right. And
that's really how.
that's what I mean by the not
Go
playing
ahead.
fair. And they killed the buffalo. That was another thing they paid people to do. They paid for the heads of buffalo heads. Because they wanted to kill all the buffalo because they realized that they couldn't handle the Native Americans, even after all the shady shit they was doing, the smallpox, the lies with the treaties, and even though they had all these weapons, and it's crazy because the natives were so smart, they would adapt really quickly. They started having the guns, they started using the horses more, everything, like all the stuff the Europeans brought over here, they started using them against them. Anyways, they couldn't handle them niggas, so they was like, all right, well, look, we can't handle these niggas like this. So they pretty much rely on the buffalo for their life. So if we get rid of all the damn buffalo, then they're not gonna have none, they're gonna be fucked. They're gonna have to rely on the government because that's what they wanted. Rely on the government and have to get regular ass jobs and become, modernized, Americanized, whatever.
Well, I think that was mostly just to destabilize them, because I mean, they were mostly, they lived off the land. They were more if you want to say vegetarians or vegans or whatever of their time. But when they're fighting, yeah, that will be one of the they could go to, that they could feed themselves without having, they run away from their land that they may have been growing. That was a substitute for them to be able to eat when they were fighting. So that's where that whole idea for them to kill off the buffalo, because they knew that was, a great source of their, protein and, vitamins, minerals, whatever it was. But it's
they used the whole buffalo. They used every part of it pretty much. They would make tools, they would make clothes, they would make tents, they would make weapons. Like, so the buffalo was pretty damn integral to maybe not all the tribes, but to a good amount of them. That the buffalo was very vital to them,
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was the Plains Indians. See, those are the ones that relied on the buffalo a lot. Those are the ones that gave them the hardest time. Gave them a hard ass time because they could move around too. That's another thing. Where do you attack these people? The way that they do traditional war, how the Europeans do, like they like to line up and shoot at each other and shit. Or sneak up
warfare.
Or sneak up on a fort and attack a location, attack a fort. But no, the natives, they didn't have no forts. They didn't have no like homesteads that you could just come and attack like that. They was always on the move. Where the hell are they? They didn't know. They were like ghosts. They could not find them. How do you fight somebody you don't know where the hell they are? Because the natives knew the terrain too. Another thing about the Europeans is so fucking ignorant. So fucking ignorant. Your arrogance thinks that just because everybody knows, like I always say, when you look at the war shit, or if you look at some serious shit that's about to happen, or serious ass pictures and photos from history, you're gonna see people standing over fucking maps so that they can know in intricate, detailed ass maps, so they could try to know what the terrain is. Because when you're fighting, the terrain is fucking everything. It's totally everything. And so the natives knew everything. They knew all the little nooks and crannies and valleys, rivers and streams. They knew everything. So that's another reason that they knew
what the rabbit holes were. Like they knew where to jump, over, because it's got rabbit holes here and there, whatever. So
that's the same reason why they couldn't conquer Vietnam, and the same reason why they could never conquer Afghanistan, because those people know the terrain. Like Vietnam is the fucking jungle, nigga. Now you see me, now you don't, nigga. I grew up here, nigga. I do this, nigga. Nigga, you don't know where I'm at. White folks walking through the trees and making all noise and crunching on branches and shit, getting bit by mosquitoes and snakes and shit. Them niggas is sliding. Same
Yeah.
thing with the Afghanistan people. It's dunes in the desert and fucking, you know, the dunes move, the sands move, and you know what I'm saying? You think it's featureless terrain, but it's not featureless. And they know the terrain, so they know about how the weather moves and how the sand moves, and sometimes it blocks out the sunlight, you can't see and shit like that. They you know, they got something for all that. You can't come over there thinking, you know, you gonna even if you got superior technology, they know the terrain. You can't beat them.
Yeah. In most cases, yeah. Because, like I said, in most cases, the reason why they can even claim a victory is because they decided to retreat. And I don't think retreating is like a cowardly thing. A lot of cases, it's a smart thing to do because if you set yourself up to get killed, like there's no holds barred. Like at some point, you got to say, okay, our crew is weakened by this or that. All right,
Let's
we're
go
gonna move back.
regroup.
Yeah, regroup, spread out. Okay, you go that direction, you go this direction, and you might, even with them having a smaller, warrior class or people that's actually fighting, shoot, they can still take out a big group of people because they set off a perimeter. I mean, just think about like right now, like the whole idea of cops setting a perimeter comes from the native people. You know what I'm saying? Like they see how well that work. All right, well, they were heading this direction. If you go up to such and such point, and we're gonna go to this point, blah blah blah. Once we hear them, because they gonna make some kind of noise, whatever it is, we got them,
And they
and they
knew
could.
this. So, because see, the thing was, it happened a lot where small groups of natives would take out much larger groups of the Europeans with weaker weapons, and they would win. And so they knew this. So you know what they did was they would just increase the numbers, and that's how they would do it. Because the Europeans would be like, okay, the regiment needs to be larger, nigga, 10,000 motherfuckers. So you got 10,000 motherfuckers against 50. You know what I'm saying? Then even if them 50 is badass, that's a problem.
Yeah, and also being able to have the element of surprise. That's like another key thing too. That if you could be in a big group, and these people they know the land, they're smart enough to not make a bunch of noise. Like they gonna keep it down. Just like, I mean, they're great. So I mean, when they would capture, buffalo or whatever, they'll use that same kind of idea when it comes to people that's, encroaching on their territory. Shit, if it's 100 of them and you got 10 people that's actually fighting, they could actually whoop that 100 real quick just because, they're prepared. They start shooting even with their bow and arrows. They might have guns, but because those people, the ones with guns coming in, they don't have an idea of that, this tree has a stand, there's a place for them to sit and watch from
Don't
down
even
below.
know, don't know
Y-
where the arrow's coming
a-
from. They don't know where to shoot.
and that's the thing. Like the only thing that a person might hear is like, ah, because they don't,
It's like shoot, shoot, shoot. Where the fuck are they? Bah, bah, bah.
for real. But shit, yeah, man. Like, but it would be like in a lot of these scenarios in history and things like that. But
Yeah, I'm
is
getting
it coming
tired.
again?
I'm getting tired. Yeah, it just keeps happening. That's why we need to know history, because it keeps happening over and over. We look at Australia, we look at what's happening in Israel, Palestine right now. These are current events that has happened in the past. It's happening again. And then, like you say, rebranded, they call it a different name or whatever, but we need to see it for what it is so that hopefully, you know, maybe this time, because you can't say that like the United States, like born on blood, bro, like the red, white, and blue. That red is a whole bunch of blood, a whole bunch of native blood, indigenous blood that United States was
Yeah.
built on. Like they say, built on an old Indian burial ground. Like they say, you know what they say, like in the movies, they say it's cursed. It's cursed because it was built on an old Indian burial ground. Well, the whole damn United States is built on an old Indian burial ground. So if anything is cursed,
Hey, you do anthropology, right? You're in school for that, right? Is there any way to, you know, like exclusive, what you call it, like as far as being able to do certain research? Because I mean, that's one thing that, you know, I'm seeing where they don't allow much real research, and and if there is a lot of research that's being done right here in America, it's not being exposed. So what do we do to get that type?
well,
Because
that's
I
part
mean,
of
it
the
was,
reason
I think that was
why I
so.
want to do it. That's the part of the reason why I want to do it, because I always, like I say, I want to be on fringe science type stuff where they're discovering new things. Because in anthropology, they're discovering new things all the time. The thing is, if you could come out with the data, they can't deny data. So that's what it is. So, but like, you know, anthropology did start off racist rather, but American anthropology has grown. And I think like, you know, there's even in science, because we was talking about in the other video how science is a religion, and it's really hard to get your paper in if the damn general consensus don't like your shit, and it don't even matter if that shit is right. So that's true. Also in anthropology, it's another type of science, and it's another damn religion. So yeah, they
Well, I
want
mean,
you to follow the previous people and just kind of build on their work. But at the same time, like I say, data is data. So if you can get some really, really good data and publish it publicly, that's how you're going to do it, because the public is going to be like, the people out here, the scientists, niggas that know they shit, can read that data and be like, wait, this is something right here. They got something right here, whatever. And then the
so
scientific community will have to recognize it at some point.
so the only way we're gonna really get real information is when the occupants, the people who's occupying the government at this time is out, for us to be able to say it's cool for us to explore every part of America to pull up whatever historical
I
fact there
no,
is.
I hell no. And that's why I make this channel, because like I say, I want people to be activists. I think the only way, because the government ain't never gonna do that, what you just said. Never, ever, ever, ever,
No,
ever,
I
ever.
mean,
Unless it's a
no,
unless the government is different, like as far
we get
as
rid of them. Get rid of the damn women that's this right now. Like there has to be under totally different. Like we have to take over the government and
right.
be
It
the
would have
we
to
the
be
people again.
right, and I think it would have to go as far as it couldn't even be the United States of America no more. It would have to be called something else. It would be a whole totally new government. That's the
Well, the
only way.
government. Well, see, I mean, if you know, for the studying that I have done, I mean, it was United States of America before what we call just the United States, because the United States is the corporate entity. The United States of America was the real. It used to be, you remember it used to be
Yeah,
USA.
yeah.
The USA, it used to
And
be
I
USA. Now they just say US. That's a specific reason for doing that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
believe that's
So, but
true
that's because,
because having to do with the stock exchange and shit. But what I wanted to say was that the only real way that the information will get out is if people go and, like I say, do the research yourself and publish that shit publicly. That's how
but
you
if
got to
they,
do it.
if, but no, but like a lot of these places that they know of, they know all of these places that has, like, because it's not that it hadn't been explored. I just think that it's just that it's not, they're not allowing that
I,
information to come out
right,
because
and
people
again,
know there's
uh, again, that still goes back to what I'm saying. I completely agree with you. I think they know a whole shit ton of shit that they don't want to let out because it's gonna fuck up society in their view. Like, it's gonna break up their thing, the good thing they got going on. But like I say, if a person could go, but even though they got that information already, somebody else can go over there and get it too. You know what I'm saying? Get in there and get the data,
no,
get the research.
not if it's being protected by the military. That's not allowing anybody to go in there except for those that they have given permit to. So I mean, and those people that has permits that can go in there, they're not in a position to release the information. They might have, different people that they talk to, or even they may have signed some kind of contract with
Right.
the
And and,
government or
and that's
whatever.
where whistleblowers come in, because that's why I'm trying to get in there, because if they ever, and like you say, this is what I go to school for, if they ever send my ass over there, the hills of California or whatever the hell, and I have an opportunity to gather some data on my own, I'm going to do it. And even if I gathered the data through the institution that I worked for, whatever, maybe I'll leak it. Maybe I'll quit. You know what I'm saying? And release the shit to the public. I
Yeah,
don't care
because I
about
mean, I'm gonna
money.
tell you the
Money is what keeps
mounds
those people. Money is what keeps those people at those jobs. Just like what we were saying at the
quiet.
beginning, because those scientists are the same way. They have pride in their job, and this is how they make their living. This is how they feed their family, their
Mhm.
co-workers, their family members. If they was to get fired, it would be embarrassing too. You know what I'm saying? This is my career. This is what I went to school for and everything. And now I got fired. You got fired. What the hell was you doing? I was trying to release some information I thought was really important to the public. What a
You stupid.
dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize how vital a lot of that information really is. Because I mean, like, they should know, because I mean, if they've been putting a lot of this stuff on ice where they don't want it to just be released, there's something very like important
Powerful.
about something
Powerful. That's
powerful.
the
Uh,
that's the main word, because that's what they're afraid of. They have their power and they don't want to let it go. And that's what I realized, because I thought about a lot of shit for a long ass time, and I was thinking about the money, because we were talking about capitalism and how I say it's economics at the end of the day. But there's another layer to that. There's another
knowledge,
layer. There's another layer, because
knowledge is
it's
power.
at some point the economics, the money, becomes not valuable, right? If you have trillions of dollars, money is not a thing to you at all. So at that point, what's valuable to
True.
you? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be information, like you say. It's going to be knowledge, and it's going to be power,
Well, and
because power is, if for you to have power over another person, a lot of times it has to do with what you know more than that other person. You know what I'm saying? The
and
the
what they
the
don't
the
know. Exactly.
the stuff that they don't know, the abilities that you have to manipulate them, is because of the knowledge that
Exactly.
you have
That's it
of.
right there.
So the powers that be
What
want to
you
keep
have and they
that.
don't.
The powers that be want to keep that power. So certain information gives people power, because it'll make them stand up. It'll make them more prideful, make them more knowledgeable, make them more, it has an impact on them. Like, what if they came out and said, um, aliens are real. We have proof. from, and these aliens are from another galaxy or whatever. And so so what would that do to like religions like Christianity or Islam or Judaism? Because, and what if these aliens were like humanoids? What if they looked just like us? Maybe they were humans and they were from a whole nother planet. And what I'm saying, they're legit aliens. And what would that do to people's idea of religion and like heaven and hell and God and the devil?
I think it would have a significant change, not for all, because I mean, there's gonna be some people that so when some people have belief, and that's just that. But then for those who are open minded or even have more of a belief towards the alien, outside, contacts, or because I mean, it's a great possibility that these certain aliens have been here for centuries already. Ancestral lines of them have been here for millennia, probably, and been living with them this whole time. They don't even know that they're. I mean, when you think about all the dynamics all the possibilities, shoot, you and I might be, and just because we don't have all of the background, the lineage, I mean, shoot, maybe that's one of the reasons why they hold our records back. We can only go so far with ancestry.com. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if it, some of the hieroglyphics that exist here in America might point to some of that. I mean, we just don't know. I mean, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but just as a thought, okay, maybe we are, aliens from a different planet that's been here for, our ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Who knows? So, I mean, it's really separates us from being able to be guided or misguided, and it's really, I mean, it's just really implement that. So knowledge is power, because like I'm saying, with the whole money aspect, I mean, we can use anything in the place of money. It's just a form of trade, the transfer of energy. So really, it's the power, it's the knowledge that people have.
Yeah, you chopping up. What's your final thoughts on Lost in Conformity and misery disguised as success?
Wow. Man, I mean, honestly, it just boils down to us getting out of this fantasy land. Of course, we need to dream big. We need to see, try to have, want great things for ourselves. But as far as us getting lost in things that don't really matter, if everything crashed tomorrow, what are we going to focus on at that point? Because that's how we need to look at every day, is that tomorrow be totally different than it was yesterday. So let's focus on things that's really gonna enrich our lives, our children, and just our communities around us. Try to make it, be better that way. Less serious instead of just looking at the full physical.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that we should focus on being ourselves, right? Know thyself, be just be, right? be in the now, you know. Um, don't get caught up in what your friends and family and everyone is saying, and just kind of like what you feel is right is right. What you feel is good, you know. Um, try to make your own way, you know. Try to make your own route through life, you know. Try to build your own thing, you know.
The whole human doing and human being. Like, stop trying to, we need to be humans instead of trying to do as whatever,
Right, because that's the conformity, right? Because we keep on trying to modify God's creation. Just be, just be, and don't let the machine turn you into something, because it's the fear. We're scared. They use fear to constrict and control us, and we're so scared of not fitting in. We're so scared of like being ridiculed and being ostracized. I've been ostracized my whole life. I'm so used to it. I mean, it sucks though.
I mean,
It
just think
does
about
suck.
the confidence. Just think about the confidence that the indigenous people had, where, and we are just animals that, have, we have hands and we can, so sure that they can think too, but because we have hands, I think that makes a big difference in the
It's
type of
the
animals that
opposable,
we are. We can
the
do other
opposable
things.
thumbs. It's the opposable thumbs. That's all it
Yeah.
really is.
So, just think about, we used to be naked or with barely anything on us, what I'm saying? Like, and who saw us, it didn't really even make any difference. Like, it wasn't a big deal. And, we've made things matter that just don't. As I'm not saying we all should strip down and start, roaming the earth again naked, but I'm just saying, like, just think about,
That
you
actually
know,
might be right, but I know that we need to be more closer to nature for sure. We need to be closer to our food, how we eat it. Everything needs to return back to natural, more natural things. Everything needs to be more local. I was watching the news, you know, off the coast of California. I brought it up in another video. All these damn container ships are still sitting out there, and they can't come in. It's fucking up all kinds of. The food is spoiling. That's on there. Stuff is going bad. Pharmaceuticals going bad. The crews are starving, literally starving. They don't have no fucking food. They wasn't planning on being on the ship that long. Uh, damn. What was my point?
wait a minute, so
Uh,
wait a minute. That doesn't add up. Those people that run the ship are just stuck out there. They just, oh, and nobody's coming to get this, and they went on about their damn business.
wait, I couldn't hear you. Was chopping up too bad.
No, I'm trying to understand. Because if people, you're saying that people are starving on these ships because there's no food for them to eat while they're sitting there waiting. Like, to me, like, that wouldn't happen with me, because either I'm opening up some of this shit on this container, or something about
I'm
to
sure
give.
it's stuff like that going on, because another issue is the containers. So there's a shortage of containers. They're costing a whole lot. So it's causing the prices of a lot of stuff to go up, because a lot of them are small businesses that rely on these products. And so there's, like I say, there is, everything is costing more, so they're gonna pass that cost on to the consumer. But this pandemic and causing all this like problems with our supply lines has kind of exposed, a lot of the flaws, a lot of the problems. Like, it's not just because of the pandemic, it's the way we do it. It's kind of fucked up. And all it takes is one little thing like this to cause it all to freaking come down. So, but what they were saying was, they are forcing, a lot of companies are buying their products from local manufacturers, wherever they can find it, because they can't get shit from overseas right now in a reliable manner. So different products they're buying fairly locally, and it's happening with the farms, like the fruits and vegetables and shit like that. They're buying more and more stuff locally, and like I say, this exposed how the United States don't manufacture nothing, and how the future. That was my point. That we're getting back. We have to get back to nature, and we have to get back to local. Everything needs to be local. Whatever you're buying, your food, your meats, your vegetables, even your manufactured goods, everything needs to come from local sources.
Well, that's one of the things that I I I would like to know about the whole infrastructure bill is what a part of that is actually going to bring back some of these, you know, old warehouses or manufacturing places that would help with, us creating or being able to, not necessarily even creating, just being able to start manufacturing things that we need here in America, we need as a people where we can do it ourselves. What action is being taken on that? How, they, about a month or so ago, they were telling farmers to chop down, because to me, it just looks like they're trying to, well, let me finish this part. They're chopping down a bunch of the crops. So it's like, what if you're trying to destroy the crops, you're not doing obviously you're not doing anything to create or grow new things or build new things that we need now.
That goes. You're kind of all over the place because you're talking about private corporations and then you're talking about the government. So, but it goes back to the profit margin. Them destroying those crops always has to do with their money, making money, losing money, or whatever. It has to do with, sometimes it has to do with the amount of that product that's on the market. It may be too much, and then they have to charge cheaper amount, but they don't want that. That's fucking with their profit, so they limit the supply so that they can control the price.
No, I get that. I understand the whole supply and demand, but the reason why the involvement between the government and corporation is because, for one, a lot of the funding has come through the government for the corporations. So, they're actually doing an infrastructure bill that's going to fund corporations to build.
You froze. Still froze. And I'm tired too. I'm gonna let Pat say bye.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Well, like I was saying, like the whole infrastructure bill that they're looking to build stuff that's going to benefit us in the future. What are they doing right now as an emergency plan to grow? Like, let's just say, if something was bad with those crops, we need something that's going to be able to supply the country and its food, the food supply, whether it's toilet tissue, paper, whatever it is, those things that we need. There's manufacturing places that was shut down. Is there anything that the U.S. government is doing to, you know, give the corporations a reason to, be able to go in and start remanufacturing some of these different things that we were getting from other countries? That's why that's the involvement of the government and the corporations, because they work hand in hand. You know what
I
I'm
don't think
saying?
they really talking about that because they are saying that they're giving them money to do more green technologies and stuff like that. They're trying to create a whole new green kind of economy or green energy type thing. So, but I think a lot of that is just going to be giveaways to these big companies. So, yeah, I don't think they're
In
really
most
talking
cases,
about that. That smaller the other
yeah.
bill The other bill, the reconciliation bill, that's the one that's good. That's the one that's gonna actually help people. But I don't know that it has much in there by the way of what you're saying. No, I don't think so. I remember thinking about the points. I might bring it up. I have videos on that because I've been watching that shit. I've been kind of following it. So maybe I'll show that in tomorrow. And so we can look at actually the details of those two bills and kind of talk about it. But yeah, I don't think
Sounds
it's
good.
anything in there. I don't think it's anything in there for what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I'm even bringing it up is because, like, you know, I hear all these technological advances that, you know, they want to be made here in America, but you know, we have other problems, and I think that's why I lean, you know, I leaned on the Democratic side before, but like right now, I'm leaning more on the Republican because they seem to be talking about things that's, you know, affecting us now instead of trying to, you know, have this broad future. Okay,
Man,
we're in trouble right now.
this bill needs to pass, man. And them talking about the money is bullshit. They don't have no problem spending money on all this other shit, but because the reason why they talk about they always talk about how much it's gonna cost when it's gonna help, when it's something that's actually literally gonna help people. That's when they talk about
You
like
think?
Obamacare, and they gutted Obamacare. And I mean, you can say what you want about Obamacare, but that shit helped people. It was a good thing. Overall, it's a good thing. And and and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
and in this bill, they got a bunch of social programs that's gonna get funding, and it's gonna be a good thing for a lot of people. It needs to pass. It really does. Really does. It'll help a lot of people, man. They've been gutting this shit for a long time. We need these social nets. This is what keeps people from ending up homeless.
is it? I mean, I
The
don't know.
the
Maybe that's something that I mean, we can discuss the ins and outs of it because
that's that's what tomorrow's show. That's what we're gonna make tomorrow's show about.
yeah,
So that's what it's gonna be.
perspective makes a big difference, you know. And I mean, I need to understand better. You know,
And we can debate it. We can debate it. That'll be a good one. So we'll make tomorrow's show. It'll be a political show, and we'll break.
let's do it because I mean, like I said, look, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed nor the brightest bulb in the box, but at the same time, it's just certain things. I'm simple. I look if it seems to be far fetched, in most cases, it's far fetched. You know, I want a great future, but my thing is there's imminent dangers that we're looking past to try to get to something that some of us may not make it to because we're not focused on the now. You know that I mean, and that's I want to be able to understand it so I can say, all right, you know what, you got my vote, but right now I'm still
You like
questioning a
nah.
lot of things.
You
You know,
like
I
nah.
mean, and not that they just. I mean, I want to understand more. This is just mainly all it is to it. I mean, I'm asking questions. You know.
All right, man. I'm gonna wrap it. It's 2 a.m. and I gotta write a fucking paper tomorrow before the show.
Yeah, I got this. Well, you know, I'm on the East Coast, so I'm a little bit ahead of you. So tomorrow, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining, man. Like I say, and thank you guys for listening, everybody out there.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Like, share.
and
What?
subscribe.
Definitely.
All right, man.
But
Peace and love.
for sure, man. I'm gonna try to get my lighting stuff together, man. I'm like I said, I bought me a new laptop thinking that this was gonna kind of make it a little bit better. But I think my lighting is an
And I'm gonna
issue.
try to come on
What
early.
about my sound? Because I was
Sounds
listening to some of the older videos. Like there's times where I'm like, you know, I can hear everybody else good, but for mine wasn't that great of
yeah. Sometimes you
sound.
had your mic lower, or maybe you had the mic away from your mouth or something. Yeah. Sometimes you are kind of low compared to others, but you always are
Yeah,
clearer than mostly everybody else because of your mic. Your voice comes through clear. clearer than theirs.
Okay.
But sometimes it's lower.
But
Yeah.
because this is a new headset and mic,
Oh.
so that's why I'm asking, because I don't,
Oh
you
yeah, it
know.
sounds good. It sounds good. This loud.
Okay,
It's definitely loud. I was
cool.
trying to check my volume today too because I couldn't tell. Cause see, I turn up my mic and it turns up and down my earphones too. So I can't tell how. Sometimes I can't tell how loud you are. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, because I
Yeah,
could just turn you up and down in my,
in your headset, yeah.
yeah.
No, I get it, yeah. But no, I always hear you very well. So
Yeah, and that's another thing. I've been thinking that I've been having it too loud, my mic. I moved the position, and I think I'm gonna start turning it down, a little bit more. I think I'm a little too
well,
loud.
I don't know. It's been sounding pretty good to me.
Does
So
it sound good when you listen to the videos? I don't sound too loud.
not to me. I mean, it's louder than, like I said, I was listening to, the last video, and I was like, damn, wait a minute, I could barely hear myself, and I turned the volume up. Everybody else is like, amplified, and me, I'm just,
Yeah.
my volume is almost high, all the way up, and I'm just now, really being able to hear myself clearly, But
Well, you sound good today.
cool deal.
All right, man. Tomorrow,
All right, bro.
mañana.